Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to X Marks the Box, an Xbox podcast. My name is Solid Snake, and I'm here with Grey Fox. Hi, Grey Fox.
Me more.
No, it's just me, Potato. Hello. I'm here with my good special guest, Davey, and we're going to do a seance because it's the Halloween episode. We're going to try and bring back Alice from the dead. We're going to try and summon her ghost, her spirit. You're going to join me, Davey. We're going to try and summon Alice. You ready?
I would love to. You have to lead the way on this one, though.
Okay. Ooh. Alice, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Alice? Ooh. Alice, are you there? Alice? Are you there, Alice? Hello? I think we lost her again. Alice! Where are you?
Alice! 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 Dun, 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 dun. Oh, hello, Alice.
Oh, I can hear her. I can hear Alice. Hello? How are you?
Hello?
Hi there, Alice. How are you? My good friend
Hello.
Alice from Beyond the Grave. How are you? How are you doing?
What am I doing here? Wasn't the podcast finished?
I don't know. I thought that too. I'm a bit confused by the whole thing, to be honest. But we're here for a Halloween special. Way spooky times. And if everything goes to plan, this should be up on Halloween. But no, in my luck, they'll probably be up in the middle of November because I'm rubbish at editing. But we will see. If you're watching this on Halloween Day, then congratulations. I did my job properly.
It's rather strange to see, like,
okay, Alice? How's
PlayStation
the
and
afterlife?
Xbox. I can't really say too much about it, but it's just strange to see Sony and Microsoft like going into console wars, or at least when I last heard about it. But anyway, my pronouns are she,
I had to bring Davey in to replace you. It was a big problem.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
My pronouns are she,
Go ahead, sorry, I cut you off.
That's okay. Well, it's not very respectful because I'm just brought into this room here. But,
I'm sorry.
But anyway, so yeah, just apparently I've been brought in here for this apparent Halloween special. I think last year is just like you and me, and I think we're really like going about and talking about all the spooky moments. So I suppose what's stuff about?
So this week's episode is going to be, it's another Halloween special. It's a Halloween Spooktacular. I did bring my Jason Voorhees mask, but there you go. I'll just wear it for 2 minutes. We are going to discuss our top 3 spooky games of all time.
You sure it's not horror games?
I know Jason Voorhees doesn't sound like a vampire.
Are you sure it's not
Yeah,
horror games?
It's spooky games, not coward games.
Well, I suppose you're not into
It's not
those
horror
jump
games,
scares of some sort.
Yeah, it's my top 5. No, I don't like jump scares. That was the big thing from last year's podcast. I discussed about how I hate jump scares, and the premise of jump scares are annoying. They just piss me off.
I bet Davey's
I
a
don't
lot
like
more
jump scares. I
brave.
think I've already told you this, Davey. Yeah, Davey's much braver than me, for sure.
I like it.
I'm a
I
bit
don't
worse.
mind a jump scare. I think the big thing for me is more atmosphere, right? And so I think like if you can get me cacking my pants without the need for a jump scare, like that's when it's got me. And I think a jump scare every now and again, I don't mind it. I don't get annoyed. But I think if it just relies on the jump scare and that's all it is, fails, falls down flat.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Got to get that atmosphere just right. Pickle in that fear. Just get it. Lovely.
I mean, I said this exact same thing last year, but it just when I think of jump scares, if someone coming up to me and going bleh and like trying to startle me, I wouldn't be scared of that person. They would just piss me off, and I would just be mad at that person and volley hit them. If someone just went trying to make me jump, it's like you're an asshole. Why would you do that? Like I don't understand. Like I personally don't like jump scares, but I do have some games that I consider spooky, which is going to be my top 3 spooky games. We've all got our list of top 3 spooky games, which will be our topic of the show. And when we say spooky, that means anything that's got supernatural elements. I think that's kind of what I went with. Or just something you could see yourself playing on Halloween, or, whatever. Because, you can watch, the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors or whatever. That's, Halloween-y, but it's not really horror, is it? It's just a bit of fun.
Well, not so cookie, though, isn't it?
It's that kind of logic. Sorry?
If it's, a lot spooky
I didn't
and not so
catch that,
cookie,
Alice.
though... You really need to switch
I didn't get the joke. Yes, kooky.
Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da.
Dun, dun. So random. Yeah, so Davey's just thinking, what have I got myself into here? Right. So, we're going to start off how we always start off every episode of X Marks the Box with, what have we been playing?
Hey.
So, there's a game I've been playing that there's two games that I've been playing that me and Davey have both been playing, and there's two games that I've been playing that me and Alice have both been playing, so this is going to be interesting. So, I'll start off with the games I've been playing, the same as Davey. Spider-Man 2, a PlayStation exclusive. I've been playing it for a couple of hours, I'm really enjoying it. It's my favourite game on PlayStation by a mile. And it's the first game that I feel justifies my purchase of a PlayStation, because I've not really used it very much at all until this game. So I love it.
Along with Street Fighter 6.
I had a discussion with Phil. Yeah, I barely played Street Fighter 6, I'm going to be honest. I thought to play with you guys, and then just no one ever played with me. I was all alone. I was like,
oh. Because you never boot up the PlayStation. I've seen it online
true,
more
yeah.
recently, to be fair. Even before Spider-Man, I saw you come online. I thought, what's he doing? Why is he online on Play? I felt a little bit like, get back to your own camp. Like, what are you doing over here? Get back to your grass is always greener on the other side. Get back over there.
It's my
Why is
Disney
there an
Plus
Xbox
machine.
fan in
I see.
PlayStation Exposition? Yeah, it just reminds me, in Eurogamer, I think it was exactly 10 years ago, when I just went in and tried out Killer Instinct, and I was like, oh, I wonder if there's any prizes with it. Oh, I didn't get any. And then I was given the Xbox, I think it was a lanyard. Then I went over the PlayStation one, and I was told, well, we may have to take you out if you keep wearing this Xbox lanyard. And I thought, oh, do I just take it off and put it in my pocket? And he said, yeah. So just put it in the bag, because they obviously don't want Xbox in PlayStation spaces.
Wow. Wow, that is sad. That is sad. I mean, that is... How low can they get? I mean, I know that 10 years ago we were talking Xbox 360, PS3 generation. It was a hard gen for PlayStation, that one, a hard generation. But even so, I think, Alice, I'd allow you to wear an Xbox. In fact, last Christmas, my mum bought me Xbox pajamas. Literally bought me Xbox. And I was like, Mum, come on. This is such a meme.
Yeah.
Why are you buying me... I do a PlayStation... I've never owned an Xbox in my life. You bought me the PlayStation. This is your fault that I'm like this. You broke me. And now you're tormenting me with Xbox pajamas. And yeah, she took those back. Yeah, she took. I had Dragon Ball Z ones then after. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, Dragon Ball.
Well,
yeah, what am I going to do?
It just reminds me when I was 10
Ball.
years old, and my mum bought me Crash Bandicoot pajamas, and I was a Sega fan back then. I'm like, but then I still managed to keep them anyway. But funny enough, decades ago, I was playing Crash Bandicoot on PlayStation 3. No, I mean PlayStation 4. Yeah, PlayStation 4, the remakes. They're pretty excellent, though.
Yes,
funny enough, that
Same
Crash Bandicoot
collection.
is now their Xbox mascot, so yay!
Yeah. It's quite funny that, you were mad. So you were a Sega person, and you were mad because they got a PlayStation mascot, and now that PlayStation mascot's actually an Xbox mascot, and now you're cool with it. It's gone full circle.
This is the way it goes. I mean, all the old franchises. Anytime you got an old Insomniac one in Spyro knocking about, and now you guys got an old Naughty Dog one in Crash, So, what's next? I mean, if it goes any longer, you may get bloody Nathan Drake pop up on Xbox at this rate. Jesus
That'd be
Christ.
pretty good. I mean, we get Indiana Jones, the original version of Nathan Drake. So.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true.
So, you've been playing Spider-Man 2 as well, right? I mean, I was going to say that I had a little argument with Phil. Well, not really an argument, a discussion with Phil earlier. I think it was Phil. It was on your account on the PSP Trust. Talking about how I don't like the haptics, and how you guys love the haptics, and I'm like, no, I don't like the haptics at all. They annoy me.
Why? Yeah, I want to unpack this actually. Why it wasn't me? It definitely must have been Phil running the PS.
I think it was Phil.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't me. He's obviously didn't have much work to do today, so he's just on Twitter. But
me too. I was.
Oh well, yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Why don't you like them? Like, what's the reason? Because they're quite used quite subtly in this, other than the fact some of the mini games, some of the I say side quest content, but they are quite subtle.
It's the ones where you got to get the R2 and the L2 to the exact right position, so they line up in the bars and then hold them. It's like,
you hate that.
This is annoying. Just let me just push two buttons. Why am I doing this? It's so annoying.
It's fun.
Like I've got overall gimmicky stuff like Kinect and the Wii remote and like motion control and all that. I don't like that at all. It annoys me. Like, the easiest way of doing an input is to push a button, and then if that's instantaneous, you push the button, you're done. You don't even think about it. It's just subconscious. As soon as you have to stop and think, oh, I need to hold down this R2 for this amount and hold down the L2 for this amount, then you're staring at the controller trying. It's like, it just throws me out. It just takes me out of it. I prefer just to push a button. It'd just be much easier and just quicker.
Can you imagine
I don't like haptics.
How boring those side missions would be if it was just that you got to it, just press X. It'd be like, this is so boring doing this. Whereas you go on there, line it up, you get the nice vibration through the handset as you go in. You got to make sure your levers are correct. I eat it up, bro. Well, give them to me.
You guys have won anyway, because Xbox are going to be ripping this off in the next. According to a leak, Xbox are making haptic controllers next year. So you guys have won. Congratulations.
Well, yeah, we steal achievements from you, and then you get haptics from us, right? So bit of both.
Well, to be honest,
saying, Alice? Sorry, cut you off.
I'm with Dave and Phil in this one, and I think haptics will be quite good, just as long as it doesn't limit on how we can control the game.
I know I'm unusual. Yeah, I know I'm the odd one out. I'm just an old man who likes things the way they are. I like just moving my sticks and pushing buttons. I
would rather stick to the Super Nintendo controller.
It just reminds me, the Super Nintendo controller was the perfect controller. I'm sorry, that's literally everyone has ripped that off over the last 10, 15 years. The Super Nintendo was amazing, but it just reminds me of when I was playing Uncharted, and you they had the 6-axis controller, the PS3. You have to go like that to throw a grenade. I'm like, come on, just let me throw a button. You push a button. I just hate that shit. It's so annoying.
No,
and then some of the controllers are mapped to the touchpad, and they don't work straight away. I'm like, swipe. I was like, let me just push a button. You got quick access with the left button and the right button. You could put quick access down for stuff. So I've just basically mapped the touchpad to the D-pad because it's just easier that way. So
nice.
But it's annoying.
It's supposed to be like a phone, isn't it? So that's why you because it's on his phone. Isn't it? You swipe into to his app. So that's what it's supposed to do. I never had any issues with mine, but I do get what you mean, that probably can be a little bit annoying. Now, this is something that I'd love to just unpack with you. You mentioned very briefly at the start of you explaining this, that this is the best game that you've played on PS5 so far. Did you get much further into God of War Ragnarok, or have you not really gone back to that yet?
To it? No. I got to the bit where you were into that village with all the people just ran away from you when you were in this village. Dwarfs, right at the start. And I was like, this feels too much like God of War 2018. As much as I like God of War 2018, I literally just finished it 2 weeks earlier. It's I'm playing the same game I've already played.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of got fatigued from it.
I can understand that. It builds. It's a game where you at the 10-hour mark, it feels completely different from the 1 hour because you start unlocking more of the combat abilities and it starts pushing you a bit more. But yeah, I can see that. If you just come off one and then it's the other, fair enough. Probably leave it a couple of years and go back. Because to me,
I will play
finished...
it at some point. Just you
got to. It's for me after finishing Spidey 2. And I'm not going to go into any spoilers because I know that you're probably about like 7-8 hour mark. I think from when you told me talking about it pre-show. I won't spoil it. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's not a patch on God of War Ragnarok. It's not a patch. It's really not.
Okay.
I think if I had to rate it, I think when I was talking about it at the 7 hour mark, I was saying on my last episode in PS4 Trust, I was saying 10. I think I'd take it down. I think I'd take it down. I think I'd take it to a 9. In that I love it. It's great. Wow. It's fantastic. But it doesn't hit the same for me as the first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
In terms of the story, I don't think is quite as good. I love it. It's got some really high highs. The gameplay, everything else, perfect. Much better than the first in like every single level. There's something missing there, though. There's something missing. And I think when I compare it to something that I have given a 10 on the PS5 so far, like in say, as much as, say, off the top of my head, Returnal and God of War, it doesn't live up to those for me. And it's not my current game of the year on PlayStation.
Ooh.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Okay.
And I think that one's going to be divisive on my own podcast.
Yeah. Is your game of the year Dead Space by any chance? I'm just guessing.
It's not. It's not. My current game of the year so far is Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I know. Yeah, I know. I was shocked.
Oh, yeah, you did say that on your podcast. I heard that. Yeah, I remember that now. I was like, really? Okay.
Oh, honestly, the highs on that game are insane. It's like watching any anime ever and then just playing that anime. It's like so over the top. It's just ridiculous. And it's so hype. Like, there's moments where I was like, oh, I am fully erect. I am fully erect playing this, and it was just great. It was just fantastic. So, yeah, a bit crude. But
I haven't played it. There's so much. There's so many games to play though. It's ridiculous. Like I'm not nothing against Final Fantasy 16. I just haven't played it yet, and it's like I haven't played Baldur's Gate yet. There's so many amazing games that I haven't even touched yet. It's ridiculous. It's such a crazy year.
There is no way that you could ever play everything this year. There's no way. I still haven't finished Zelda yet. I still haven't finished it. I've only done like 2 of the main temples.
That's my game of the year. Game of the year.
That would be... I think I've got to complete it before end of year because I think that could pick mine as well. Because that was so special when I was playing that. So good. But
have you gone back to it, Alice?
I struggled to get
Zelda?
back into it.
Have you gone back to it?
Also, I've also been struggling to get into like some other games and been like jumping between all the other games too. But at the moment, I'm like reading I got the manga subscription, which means I can like read all those One Piece chapters. So I'm like about chapter 110 or some sort. Ooh. So just pretty much like jumping on this whole train there.
Reading, what a novel concept! I love it. I've been playing Mario Wonder, which I think you've been playing as well, Alice, right? You've been playing Mario Wonder at all?
I've been playing Super Mario Wonder, so I just only beaten the first world, but I have to say it's actually a bit more casual compared to the other Mario games. But I think it's just like quite nice, all those bits. Even though it's pretty much like the new Super Mario Brothers, the series there, which involves like a reinvention of Super Mario's Brothers.
2D.
This one is just like, it's just pretty much like got the right kind of style, and there's certainly pockets where it has more difficult levels, but I think I just feel like, I'll just like stick to the main path, get the story done, and then focus on beating the rest of the levels for bigger challenges. So it's not too difficult. I think it's just really good because I got an OLED Switch there, which complements it so much.
Ooh, fancy. Nice. I was going to say, like, I feel like Mario Wonder is the spiritual sequel to Super Mario World, whereas I think New Super Mario Bros. Is more like a sequel to Super Mario Brothers 3. Like, it kind of has that, feels like a new version of Super Mario World, really, which is so fun. I'm really enjoying it. the wonder seeds are like the craziest thing ever. It's like, I don't know if you've seen much about this, Davey, but there's this thing called wonder seeds. You collect them, and then literally the whole map just completely changes and like goes bonkers. Like you'll start floating upwards, or plants will just start singing, or the map will just you'll like have a quiz section. It's just bonkers. It doesn't make any sense. It's like someone in Nintendo's just like really smoked some meth or something and just made this game. That's what it feels like. It's like, whoa, what can we do here? It's so cool.
I'm so looking forward to playing it. I bought it for my son for Christmas, so he's going to get it at Christmas.
All right.
And that would be it then. So that would be our game we play all over like Christmas break. So we'll be absolutely sweating it.
Oh, wicked.
So we played. He's obsessed. My son is obsessed with Mario. Like loves Mario so much. And so I really hadn't played much of any Mario for quite a while, probably since Galaxy. And then since my son, we've been sweating every single like Mario that's come out since then. So and we've been loving them, and especially what I love about the Nintendo games, and what I think that a lot of other, especially like Xbox and PlayStation, what they can learn from is that they just make it in such a nice way that it's really accessible for like any age. Like my son can play, and then you get like, after they die so many times, they get like, the golden cat costume, so they're invulnerable, and all these different things. And you think, they can make it so you can play together, and it's fun for them. And that's been really nice because, if I put him on something on like PlayStation, like put him on Crash or something, you get smoked. It's just solid. So it's it's quite nice to be able to see what Nintendo do to make it as easy as they can for people to get involved with it.
With Mario Wonder, you got the Yoshi. You can use Yoshis, which are like invulnerable, and you can use Nabbit, which is invulnerable as well. So that's good for younger players, that they just don't die. Also, like you can it's a lot easier to survive, and you can respawn at certain points. And also, you don't actually collide with each other anymore. Like in Super Mario Bros, you literally grabbing each other and throwing each other around. You don't actually hit each other now, which is nice. So you could just complete the game on your own, Davey, and he'll just follow you along the way. He'll just follow you with his Yoshi, and you'll be good. So yeah, it looks like a really fun co-op game. I haven't really played it co-op at all, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's rad. I like it a lot. It's a crazy year for games, I must say, because I think this probably would be Game of the Year contender for me normally, but it's not in my contention for Game of the Year. But it's so good. There's too many good games. There's so much
Welcome
options.
to autumn every year.
Every year, autumn. So I'm just going to briefly, two more games I want to talk about, and then Alice, just kick on with yours, and then Davey. You got two. I already put two games on Davey's list. I knew Davey was playing. So the MGS collection. What do you think of the MGS collection, Davey? I know we're both now Gear Solid fanatics.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's been so much kind of noise about it online in terms of them being they've been lazy with it, right? So they've just taken Blue Point, one of the best studios, a crown in PlayStation's PlayStation's throne. They obviously did the MGS 2. They did 2, 3, and Peace Walker, I think it was. They came as a collection, a HD collection back on PS3.
I've got that version, yeah.
Oh, and me, great. On
360, I got the Vita version of it as well, which is just 2 and 3.
And me, yeah, so I got that too.
I got the same collection 3 times.
And me,
Yeah,
yeah, and me.
We're the problem, Davey.
Oh,
that's why they keep milking us for money. We're the problem.
Oh, I'll keep buying it every goddamn time.
Me too.
And so I was excited because the thing for me is that even though the ports haven't been treated in the best way, you could easily run MGS original in 4K if you wanted to, at 60 or 120 frames. It wouldn't be an issue, right?
Yeah.
And they haven't done that. It's, it's 30, it's a PAL version for the most part, which is fine. That's what we've always experienced, Lewis, unless you ever had an American PS1.
No.
And so I was like, I don't care. I just wanted to be able to play my favorite game of all time in Metal Gear Solid again. And that's exactly what we got. And I can earn trophies on it. I can have a platinum on my favorite game of all time. Fucking sign me up. I would have paid any money for this. And so to have it with the original Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2, which I've never played, then have Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 as well bundled in, fuck me.
Yeah.
Sign me up straight away. I bought day one, and And yeah, it's just been one of those things. I've actually still got it wrapped because I've just been playing Spidey. But as soon as I finish it out, I'm about half hour away from getting the platinum on Spidey. And as soon as that's done, MGS is going in and that's it. It ain't leaving. It ain't leaving until I get that platinum. That's for damn sure.
I got the same kind of logic with you as well. So it's like 1,000 gamer score I could get for Metal Gear Solid 1. But also this is the first time, I believe, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time ever the Metal Gear Solid 1 is on an Xbox console, as far as I'm aware. Because you can get it on the emulator for PlayStation 1 on the PS4 and PS3, I believe. But they've never released Metal Gear Solid 1 on an Xbox console until right now. So that was like my incentive for buying it, because I love Metal Gear Solid 1, the same as you. And I just really wanted to go back and play it. But I already owned 2 and 3, and apparently it's exactly the same version, but I'm still a sucker, and I still bought the whole collection, because I'm an idiot, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, I mean, this is the thing. If you got an opportunity to be able to play MGS1 and not have to either boot up an emulator or not have to dig out a PS1, why not just go for it? I know you could get it on like PS3 and stuff like that, but there's something about having a disc and putting it on and it being on there. I don't know. I'm just a sucker for it. I am. And I only played through MGS1 on my PlayStation Classic about a year ago, 18 months ago. And I can't wait. I'm frothing to get in and play it again. I cannot fucking wait. So I'm happy as hell with this collection. I know everyone's annoyed by it, and it's money grabbing by Konami. But if Capcom would follow suit and they would do this with some of the old Resident Evil games, bro, I would pay any money to have Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 on PlayStation 5. Capcom, follow suit. Milk me. I'm ready to be milked. Treat me. I will do whatever you want. I'll pay any money for it. I'm a sucker for it. Absolute sucker.
The only thing that I noticed that stood out to me was when I was playing it yesterday, the Colonel was like going, push the R1 button and the R2 button. It's like, Colonel, I'm on an Xbox. What are you doing? RBRT, come on. Come on, Colonel. God damn it. I mean, the rest of it's like, use the action button. Or the select button, which is like select button's not a thing on either console, so that's fine. No. But the R1 and R2 thing was like, oh, how dare you? I'm insulted. How dare you?
How hard is it going to be when you go in for the torture section later and you've got to mash X? But for you, it's going to be mashing B, but it's going to be flashing up X. That's going to be the most confusing torture scene ever. You're definitely going home with Otacon on that first playthrough, I'll tell you now. Meryl ain't living.
Yeah. But then you get the invisibility suit for going home with Otacon, right? And then you get the bandana for. I mean, spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 1, guys.
Oh, come on. Come on.
But I like to have the invisibility suit. That's always my go-to over the bandana, to be honest. So I'm quite happy to let on. And bromance forever, bromance mode. Bros forever.
Interesting.
So that's all I've been playing. Also, I play. Go on.
Interesting that I discovered that you can buy Metal Gear Solid separately, so you can just buy that and get the HD collection of Metal Gear Solid, because the only difference between the Master Collection and HD Collection is that you just get Metal Gear Solid 1. I've been playing the HD Collection on Xbox 360, I imagine, but you just need to get this along with the Metal Gear Solid, and that's it. I think the reason people would go to this collection is so they can play all the Metal Gear games on like the Nintendo Switch, but I think the Nintendo Switch is a bit worse compared to like Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, I've heard this Nintendo Switch version is like the PS2 version. I don't think it's even HD. I think, as far as I'm aware, which is insane.
Tops out 720. It does. Tops out 720 and it's 30 instead of being 60. So MGS 2 and 3 are 60 frames per second, but at 1080. I believe, whereas on the Switch it tops out at 720 at 30. So yeah, better than a PS2, but not by much. Yeah,
you better try to get the collection on Vita. I think you're probably better off doing that, to be honest.
Already got it.
I got that version. It's really clever, and you're right. Oh, there you go. And you're right. I should have just kept the collection and just bought the first one, but I just bought all 3 of them because I'm a crazy person. I have the HD collection literally on my shelf over there, so I could literally have just put that in. I just bought it again. That's what's wrong with me. Oh, I just like Metal Gear Solid. What can I say?
We need more Metal Gear. And if this is the way to be able to
do.
show Konami that we need it back, hey, take my money. Take my money, Konami. Have it.
It's the best 6 out of 10 ever made.
Oh, yeah.
Called Spencer.
Goddamn Spencer.
And the only other game I've been playing this week is a little bit of Halo Infinite. Me and you, Alice, we've been playing the Husky Raids.
Yep.
Is that what it's called? You put a
that's
video
right.
up about it. Season 5 of Halo Infinite is up, and it is dope. I love it.
Yeah, so Season 5 is out, and this introduces the Halloween stuff, which it has some spooky Halloween stuff, but it also introduces the Flood armor pieces, which the free pass gives you like 50 items for it, which is quite cool. I was just about to like complete the pass there, and I've been doing like Husky Raids and XP boosts. But yeah, some of the items are interesting. There's more cross-core items, coatings, whatnot, and it makes the whole system much better for leveling things up. But I've also been doing a lot of Husky Raids to get a lot more experience for my Spartan rank. So now, I've now reached to the gold tier of ranks. So now I'm like I think it's some kind of gold recruit. But yeah, the grind starts to pick up. But as long as I stick to Husky Raids, then yeah, it's all good.
How many games, you think you told me this before, how many games do you need to win to get the Master Chief armor? Which, like a play, is like a couple of thousand, something ridiculous.
I'm going to go check that now because I got Spartan Record is a website where you can bring up your stats from like Halo Infinite, and the biggest the biggest thing with it is that you'll be able to get the estimate of how many games you need to beat. Well, you need to complete. No need to win or lose. Oof. And then you can just get...
I love a good grind, but geez, no, I'm not. I'm good.
So I'm just going to check out this career rank where, let's see, career rank at the moment, I got into cadet, which is gold. So right now, if I was to reach hero, I would need just over 9 million XP, which requires 7,121 games.
Jesus Christ.
If it kept a Spartan rank from the beginning of this game, and not from like Season 4, I imagine, then I would be at Diamond, Lance Corporal, and it would mean 5,677. This is all because like once you get to Onyx, it's literally like half the game, because if you complete like bronze and silver, you'll be like about 4% of your way through, so it will start to pick up into a bigger grind.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because I've been playing it since the alpha and the beta as well, so it's they only added, because Davey, I'm not sure if you're aware, so they only added these new rankings to the Halo in Season 4, was it? Like a bronze, silver, gold, and you said Onyx, right? I'm silver at the moment, so yeah.
I wouldn't mind asking
you. Have a question, Davey?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I wouldn't mind asking you both this. Like, I'm an old school Halo fan in terms of like the original trilogy, like the Bungie ones, and kind of stepped away from it then.
The good ones
with like Halo 4 and all those. With now the way this game has gone. Obviously, it had a bit of a rocky launch, and it picked up a bit of momentum, and it's kind of been... It's never quite regained the relevance that I think that they kind of hoped it would do. Do you feel that... well, I mean, like, how do you feel it's progressed since then? Is it a case there's been a big turnaround for this game, or do you feel that it's time that they maybe either look at getting a new studio on board to be able to steward this franchise, or are you quite happy with what they've delivered in 343?
Well, I feel like Halo, Season 5 is actually really good. I think it's pretty much where it should be. It's just a shame that a lot of people have been burnt and not going to come back to it, but they've added some really good stuff in Season 5, and because they've added Forge mode, which was like a thing they should have probably had at launch. There's a lot of custom maps and stuff, so like there's new custom modes and new custom maps always on rotation. So there's always something new to do every week on there, and there's always new season pass, new like weekly challenges and stuff. So it's a lot better than it was at launch, and it's finally up to the standards I think it's like it should be. It's just a shame that a lot of people have fallen off it. I'm hoping people will come back to it eventually, fingers crossed. I think it's in the middle of his redemption arc. This is like in the middle of his Cyberpunk or No Man's Sky kind of redemption arc at the moment. I think eventually people will be saying it's worth playing. I really enjoy it. I think it's great. And they got Firefight coming soon? When's Firefight coming, Alice? Do you remember?
It's actually...
No? Okay.
There's a bit of a question, though, because, like, technically, it's introduced into Season 5, and that's where you have campaign AI in Forge, which means you can put enemies into it, and you can make...
Right.
Well, technically, you can make fight modes, but it wasn't until, like, they haven't put... They will start to do matchmaking for, like, Firefight, and they introduced with Firefight King of the Hill, so this one is coming really soon.
Yes. Fingers crossed. Firefight's like my favourite mode. If you don't know what Firefight is, it's like Horde mode or like Nazi zombies. So it's just like wave-based enemies and you just got to level them up. So I was going to say, because we were just talking about how much of a grind it was, I know you get the platinum on Call of Duty every single year. Like, what kind of grind is, like, comparing that to the 7,000 games we need to get for this armor? What's the grind like on Call of Duty? I don't really know.
I got your figure up.
Call of Duty, the last...
for Hero... Sorry. So I looked over the Spartan record of your gamer tag, and at the moment, you need 8,000 games to get to Hero, whereas... If it includes your lifetime stats, you'll be Staff Sergeant at Platinum.
But I'm 65. And I'm an old man.
Ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Oh my god.
I'm max level.
Oh my god.
I've max leveled every battle pass. I've max leveled every weekly pass. I've played it since the alpha, and I'm still 8,000 games. That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. That's stupid. That's fucking stupid. No, COD, thank God with COD, what they've done the last few years is that they said we're going to put most of the trophies tied to the campaign. So they most of them are campaign trophies. And then you get some years, like Modern Warfare 2, for example, came out last year, no trophies for multiplayer at all. None. So that's just you playing the game to enjoy it. And it's all the platinums reliant on that. But the one year, which was I think it was Vanguards, they had a terrible zombies mode, fucking awful, right? Really bad. And that had a trophy for getting like 10,000 zombie kills, and that was awful. No. It literally, I put on like a Joe Rogan podcast. It was like 6 hours, and literally just sat there with a ray gun, just in a corner. The zombies were useless, and just sat there, spamming R1 for 6 hours to get that platinum, and that was not worth it. That was actually horrendous. Really bad. But 8,000 games would kill me. That would be it'd be unattainable for me. That no way.
Yeah,
too much.
I'm not going to do it. No, and it's just for an armor that looks like Master Chief. It's like you already have armors that look like Master Chief anyway, so it's not really that special. So it's okay.
Aren't you playing as Master Chief? Isn't that the point?
In the campaign, you are, but in the multiplayer, you have your own armor.
Also, you can get different paint jobs for the Master Chief armor. That's where you can get different prizes for it, which is kind of cool. But it's a kit, though, so you can't fully customize it. But to me, I think there was a bit of a bragging rights. Like, if I get to gold or platinum, that's cool. But to be honest, I think there's kind of nothing compared to like Halo 5's progression there, where it takes ages to get to level 155. No. And once you get there, I think you may get some prizes there, but you'll definitely get the Watchdog coatings, which is like silver and red stuff for your weapons in Halo Infinite. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, don't bring up Halo 5. My God, that was the worst. I mean, we're just going off on one here, but Jesus Christ, don't mention it. I don't think you ever played Halo 5, Davey, but basically, everything was tied to loot boxes, like all like stuff you unlocked. So it was just completely random. So you do like, ooh, I fancy this armor. So you might have to just go through like 1,000 loot boxes to get like a random helmet. And then the loot boxes are really hard to get as well. It's a horrible Halo 5 multiplayer.
God,
the multiplayer itself is great, but the loot box, the leveling up and stuff was awful. Which is a shame.
Aren't we glad we're past that whole thing? I know there's like games which do have loot boxes. Like I play a lot of Apex, right, and that's got like Apex packs, right? But thank God that isn't as prevalent as it always used to be, because it was just so bad. It was never fun. Literally never fun. Wasn't it Overwatch that introduced those? I swear it was.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Well, they popularised it at least. I think other people have done it before then, but yeah, they were the one who made it like popular.
Dear God.
Oh, no.
Terrible.
I hate it so much. No. But yeah, that's what we've been playing. Well, I've been playing. Alice, have you played anything else this week?
Yes.
Or since we last spoke?
I played like a bit more F-Zero 99. Pretty fun. Where you get to face 99 other opponents in F-Zero. Yeah, that's right. Also, I got like a membership. I also bought Super Mario Wonder. So I got Switch Online, and I've been trying out Nintendo 64, Game Boy Advance games, and Mega Drive games. So I played a bit of a mix. But I've been into like Wily Wars, which is a Mega Drive. I think it was a remaster of the first 3 Mega Man games. Cool. So I just went in. Been playing Mega Man 2, and it's kind of a bit more difficult than I remember. But I think, to be honest, when you get into Wily's castle, oh my gosh, you really destroyed me. Like, you just go through and use like 1, 2, or 3. So it's like, I'm going to use 1. Oh, I can't reach the ladder. So I had to, and I used all the ammo. So I went down and just been destroying lots of these towels, so I can try to get more ammo for my weapons. Go up, and then like, oh, I'm going to find that, got over to the dragon. Like, oh, I need to defeat this dragon. Oh, use the quick thing. Okay, cool, quick boomerang this head. But turns out I just fell down, and now I have to go through that ladder stage again. Ah! But then, once you get through the next stage...
Oh, no, not the ladder stage.
Yeah. That's right. I just go through that, and then you just went over to this things with robots. Oh my gosh, that's annoying. But once you get over to the next stage, it's just like, it's kind of a bit simple. You just go through, but you need to make sure you have enough weapon energy for the crash bombs, because if you get over there, you have to blow up walls and destroy all the turrets. And that's the only way you can beat them. If you run out all that energy and you haven't broke down those walls, good luck trying to refill all that ammo for it. And I got as far as a boss rush of all the robot masters there, and got as far as a quick man, and like, I just gave up for the night.
Nice.
It's already 3 o'clock.
You're so close to the end. If you're at that part, you're so close to the end. I mean, it's been a while since I played it. I remember when they had, when they released, I think it was Mega Man 1 to 6 or whatever it was, and they kind of repackaged them and put them out in that collection. Now, I could be wrong, Alice. I'm hoping you can remind me on this. It's either on Mega Man 1 or 2, where if you used, I can't remember what weapon it is now, maybe like the Mega Buster or something, and what happens is when you fire it, you can, if you pause and just keep pausing and unpausing, it's like a cheat that's built into Mega Man, really, that it will still count the bullet as it's going through them as each separate hit if you pause and unpause. And so you can just obliterate bosses. Like, you literally will fire one bullet, spam pause, and their health bar just goes, because it counts every single, like that frame of it going through. If you're pausing and unpausing on every frame, it would count as like 40 hits. And you clear the game. So easy. Yeah.
I remember that one.
It's the only reason I got through Mega Man 1.
I've beaten Mega Man 2
Mega Man 1, actually. Like, if you face a Yellow Devil, the one that separates into yellow blobs, it's actually...
Yellow Devil.
You actually do this with the electric thing. Like, you shoot the electricity into this eye, and then pause, unpause to get rid of it. And I think it pretty much applies to both versions.
Yes.
But when I was like trying to get through Mega Man 2, I could literally have to wait for the weapon to clear out before I open up the window to switch the weapon. And that's why I have to wait for the crash bomb to completely get rid of it so I can switch over to weapon 1. Like, oh my gosh. Mega Man 2 is just like a huge challenge. And it's no wonder that any crates is just like so sadistic when they say, we're going to stick to the same Mega Man 2 gameplay for Mega Man 9. I'm like, that's crazy.
Oh my god, no. Evil. If you guys, if the viewers of the show, if any of you are interested in seeing an entire playthrough of Mega Man 2, there's a total playthrough on my channel from like 5-6 years ago. And I can't remember if I was cringy or not during that Let's Play, so that'll be a fun watch.
Oh, I love to
that
see
game
you
is
suffer.
so fun though. Mega Man 2 is my favourite Mega Man, but it's brutal. Yeah, it's so. Oh yeah, yeah. I swear a lot in that series. I know that. I got really mad, especially in the. What's the one where you have to use the time power to like freeze time so the beams don't get you? I forgot what it's called now.
Flashman.
Oh,
but you should
like
save that energy
Flashman
when you get to face Crickman.
Yeah.
Get rid of the first 50% of his health, and then use the flash thing to get all this health down to like 0. Yeah. That's the trick. But I think it's more
the
to
ones
do with
with the beams, I got
memorization
so pissed
to
off
deal
at that
with.
level.
Yes. It didn't take me as many tries as beating
pissed me off
Woodman
so much.
or even like Crickman.
Yeah, Woodman's great. I just love the music in Mega Man 2 as well. Like every stage has a banger of tune. Oh my god. I want to play Mega Man now. Why have you put this in my mind? I want to play Mega Man.
I wonder if there's any like Kaizo.
So is there anything else you'd be playing?
Which got like super powerful robot masters.
I mean,
like
Mega Man is Kaizo itself, isn't it?
Hard Metal Man, Big Bubble Man, Morning Wood Man.
What the heck? Excuse me? What game is this? I think you've been watching the wrong type of gameplay here.
I want to hear more about Extra Hard Woodman. I want to hear more about that. That sounds.
Woodman.
More. Yeah.
I think it was
chopping that down to size.
I think there's also
get off topic. There's a Mega Man video on my channel.
Flash of Bits Man.
There's a Mega Man video on my channel when I
totally crashed.
Me and my friend did a co-op Let's Play Mega Man X. Okay, we had a co-op episode and we called it Sexy Mega Man or something. I can't remember. And it was just basically the whole episode was just like talking about like characters called Wet Man and stuff like that. It was like, oh yeah, Wet Man, and just like basically the same kind of jokes you're just making. Literally a whole episode of just that. Good times.
There's a Robot Master in Mega Man 10, and it's called like Pump Man.
Pump Man.
Pump Man be doing things. Pump Man, he'll give it to you. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing.
So we've been talking about what we've been playing for quite a while, so we probably should... was there anything else you wanted to talk about before we moved on to the news, Alice?
Well, nothing, and I thought I was going to play spooky games, but I thought I was just like, never mind, I'll just stick with like spooky films. But I think I will be totally interested in some like scary retro games, but I'm like stuck to my Nintendo Switch and Xbox. Like,
yeah, I want to play some spooky games as well. I actually put a poll up on the YouTube channel of what spooky game I should play tomorrow for Halloween, or today when you guys are seeing this. And I think Dead Space is currently winning the poll, so that's going to be fun.
That's only because you didn't put Soma or an Amnesia. Wimp.
No, yeah, we're not going to do that. they're all Game Pass games I put up. So it was Liza P, Dead Space, Vampire Survivors, and Ghostwire Tokyo. So, like, what spooky game would you like to see me play on? Well, not see me play. I'm going to be playing on my own. What game?
What about the real horror game called Redfall?
Interesting. That's just terrifying for every reason. I was thinking of putting Redfall on there, but I'm like, people might actually vote for me to play it, and I don't want to play it. So no, it's not happening.
Oh no!
I refuse to play Redfall. This game is so bad. I hate it. Exactly. They ruined my gamer score. Why would they do that? That's horrible. No. It's like giving you half a bronze trophy or something. I don't know how you would even do that on PlayStation, but that's essentially what they've done. It's like, why would you do that? That's horrible.
Yeah.
Monsters.
That's something compared to
Davey,
all the glitches.
is there anything else you've been playing this week?
Yeah.
No, sorry. Yeah. Is there anything you've been playing this week, Davey, apart from the Spider-Man and that?
The only other one, and I'll only speak about it very briefly, is I've been playing a game called Humanity. It came out earlier on this year.
I saw that.
And so you play as a little dog, and you're like a ghost dog, so kind of spooky, and you're guiding people to the afterlife. So it's a puzzle game, and you're basically just having to like bark commands for like turning or jumping or anything like that. And there's something just oddly satisfying about it, and it's just. There's something it's quite charming. You can play it in PSVR 2 as well if you want to have an extra bit of perspective, and that's quite nice and quite novel. But it's just pretty fun. And that's the game that I've been, every time I got like 10 minutes, say I had like 10, 15 minutes, I was like finishing off lunch or something, I can boot it up and beat a puzzle or two. So it's not something I'm putting like hours into, but I'm slowly ticking away at, and I'm really enjoying it. So that's definitely one if you're on PlayStation Nation. I think it released everywhere else. I'm not sure though, but definitely one to watch.
Steam.
It came onto Extra on PS Extra. It's on Steam as well, is it? It's
yes.
Really,
is it? Okay.
It's really good fun. Really good fun.
Do you prefer this or do you prefer Stray? Like, do you prefer to be the magical cat or the magical dog?
Oh wow, he's not a magical cat. He's just a normal cat, but
he's a sneaky cat.
He's such a good boy, and so Stray definitely. One of the best games of last year. 100%. Swear down. Did you ever play that, by the way? Because that came to Xbox, didn't it?
No, I haven't got around to playing it. It's on my list of backlog games. There's so many games I've got to play. It's ridiculous.
Don't play that if you're even slightly depressed, because it is sad.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it is sad.
Oh, never mind then.
I had a little cry playing that game. It's so good. So good. So good. Especially if you're a cat person. I know you're a dog person, but... You know.
I mean, I like cats too, but I'm a dog person. But I do
I'm more
like
of a cat
too,
person.
Yeah.
It's great.
Shall we move on to the news?
Yes.
Yep.
Whee! News! I don't know if I want to put a transition, but probably not. News! Da-da-da-da-da-da. News. Or you could just use your soundboard like, I don't... Ooh, news. Quick news! Do an impression of you. So the easiest, we're just going to go through these quickly. The APK deal is finally done. We haven't talked about it on the podcast. We have a video up talking about it. It's just, I think we're just relieved that it's done, to be more than anything.
Yep.
Like, is there anything else we really want to say about it? I just thought we'd just mention it briefly because we haven't mentioned it on the podcast.
I just don't think
Davey,
there's a lot
what do you feel
going
about
on,
the APK deal? I know you've been talking about it a lot.
Alice, I totally agree with you. I think that there is nothing really to say too much on this. It has been going and going and going forever. Thank God it's finally done, because every time we all think, it's done. No, the saga continues. So thank God it's done.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank God. I mean, is it quite worrying, though? I know that a lot of people are making this reach on Twitter, and I don't agree with this reach at all, but it's worth asking you both, is that the things I've been seeing, right? And there's like, the price has gone up in Brazil. Now you can't use third-party adapters. And people are like, ever since ABK, it's all downhill. And it's like, they're not related. They are so not related. But I've seen people make this reach, so I might as well ask you both, because it's just ridiculous.
Yes.
Stupid. I mean, the Brazilian price increase is bad. I don't understand why they did that. But then you see PlayStation haven't bought a new company in ages, and they've just added a £30 stand that you need for your PS5 and put the price of PS Plus up and the price of games. You know, they do it all the time. It's not a big deal. Like, people just like, eh.
I know. People seem to just take something that's totally unrelated and they think, there's some conspiracy here. With Brazil, it's because of inflation. Inflation in Brazil is going nuts. It's absolutely at the wazoo. Yeah. And so this is their way to be able to do it. So Sony will be following suit in Brazil before long, if they haven't already. So, it's just ridiculous. I mean, Alice, how do you feel about it, Alice?
I think it just means like we got more Activision games into the Game Pass, and I think that's going to be quite good. But I think this is going to be a long time before it comes into effect. But difference is that, well, there's not going to be a lot of difference there because Call of Duty will still be on PlayStation. It's just going to be on more platforms. And also, like, the streaming for Activision games will be all with Ubisoft Plus. So I don't know if it means we can stream Activision games on Xbox Game Pass. But to be honest, it's just like, I don't know. But yeah, it's just like, the other good thing about it is we can actually get those Activision games on Game Pass, especially the UK. So I'm glad that CMA is able to agree with Xbox deal. It just means we'll probably not get as much as we hoped with it. But then, I don't really speak for the PlayStation guys anytime. But for Xbox, it's just like, yeah, particularly good news, especially with the Game Pass getting more content there, which is quite cool.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not much of. Oh, sorry, go on.
No.
Sorry.
You might get... All I was going to say is it's good news for you guys. I think ultimately the only thing that I find weird about this. I mean, we spoke about this on the last episode of In PS We Trust. So apologies for repeating something. But the only thing I don't get about it, right? The only thing I don't get about this entire deal is Phil Spencer was going out and he was like, "Oh, it's going to be full parity for COD. You know, not even betas." And I'm like, why? Like, what the hell? Like, lock that shit down. I know obviously they can't lock down COD, but like when it comes to betas or having like some exclusive stuff like PlayStation had with their marketing deal where they had extra class setups, you had like 10 class setups, things like that, and extra XP. Why wouldn't it? Was that surprising when he was just saying, nah, we're just not going to do any of that? Do you kind of buy that? Because we had a big thing on our show that we were like, fuck no, they're definitely gonna put something in, 100%. Like, why wouldn't you?
I was literally that's exactly what I was about to ask you, was about that exact conversation you had on PSP Trust. So you beat me to it. That was literally what I was going to ask you when you cut me off. So that's fine. It kind of lines up with what Phil Spencer's been saying. Personally, I don't get why you wouldn't have exclusive betas and stuff. That makes no sense to me. I agree with you there. I think it makes sense to have parity with like you get like everyone has the same guns, the same like what they're called, characters. I can't remember what they're engineers. I can't remember what they're called in Call of Duty.
Oh, operators. Operators.
Yeah. Everyone's got the same operators, same guns, same maps. I think that makes sense because then the multiplayer's not fractured. Like the problem you'll get with like old multiplayer games back in the day is you'll be like DLC pack 1 of maps, and then you'll have people who are playing on DLC pack 1 and the base game, and then you'll have people who are just on the base game, and then you fracture the multiplayer. So having everyone on the same maps makes sense, and the same operators, same guns, but I don't understand why you wouldn't utilise having a free beta. I agree with you on that one. It doesn't make sense to me, but they're trying to be ubiquitous. They just want people to buy it on PlayStation, and they want people to buy it on Nintendo, and they just want the money, basically. They're not really concerned about selling consoles, which is weird to me, but I mean, they are, like I think I said this when I was on your podcast before, the highest selling games on PlayStation were, last year were Minecraft, Call of Duty, and Call of Duty on PS4 and PS5.
Yeah.
So literally, Xbox is the best third-party developer on PlayStation when it comes to sales, which is weird. But, you know, that's how the industry's going. It's bizarre to me. What do you think, Alice?
Well, yeah, I think...
Sorry, don't...
I don't know, because I think when it comes to the Call of Duty, it's just like, I haven't played much of it, but I think there's been like sales with it. But to see the Call of Duty come to Game Pass, that would be something really. But I don't think it's going to change whether I would continue playing it or not. But I think, to be honest, I'll be like sticking things like Halo, Fortnite, or anything like that, because I have been completely out of the loop with Call of Duty stuff. But I think the best one is like to do with zombies. So if they were to make this standalone, like with Halo Infinite multiplayer, yeah, that's certainly something, of course.
I mean, you do make a good point with Game Pass there, actually, because I feel like Game Pass is the thing that makes it unique to Xbox. The fact it's going to be on Game Pass, and you're going to be able to buy it either 70 quid on PlayStation or you have the subscription on Xbox and you get it. I think that kind of helps like sway people towards Xbox. Is that like that's like the like if you like parody in the games themselves, but the fact it's on Game Pass is kind of like an advantage in its own right. So, and also they're gonna have the marketing and stuff. So like when you see like a Super Bowl trailer for like Call of Duty, is gonna say on Xbox, the end, isn't it? Like a big write-in. I think that's like the main things for Xbox, but it is weird to me that they don't take advantage of betas and stuff. They do have like perks and stuff on Game Pass where you could like with Halo and stuff, like if you're on Game Pass you get a green gun this month and stuff like that. It's like I can imagine them doing that with Call of Duty. I can see them doing that, like you get a free skin every month from Game Pass or whatever. But it does seem to match up with what Phil Spencer's been saying. But me personally, I'd be like, this is war, damn it. I'm having all the exclusivity on our consoles if it was me.
Oh,
but
gotcha.
He's a bit more kumbaya.
Well, I think this is always my issue with
living.
it. And I don't want to derail your podcast, but this is always my issue with it, is that it's always saying that it's like, oh yeah, you know, peace and love to everyone, we're going to play it all there. But the reality is never that ever, right? It's never that. And so it'd be interesting to see what happens. Maybe like this next year with like, obviously not Modern Warfare 3, but like the next year after, when it's going to be, whose turn is it? Treyarch's turn, right? Well, I think then we'll probably see what they're going to do. I wonder if they would do Game Pass Day 1. That would be the smart thing to do for them. But I think they probably had that beaten into them in the courts that they can't do that or something. There's going to be something there, but at least you'll be able to get all the old ones on Game Pass, which would be huge.
Yeah,
that'd be massive for Game Pass. You know, loads of people would. Fuck, I'd even think about doing that on PC.
Yeah. I mean, they've already said that it will be coming to Game Pass Day 1 eventually. I mean, there's a legal thing that they can't do it because of the rights that the PlayStation have done for like for the couple. So it's going to be like 2 or 3 years until it's actually on Game Pass.
This is the last one, I think, for Modern Warfare 3 is when their marketing deal ends. So after that, then it'll be free game as far as I'm concerned.
Well, what they did with Starfield and Forza, and what they do seem to do with all their big exclusives now, is that they'll have them on Day 1 Game Pass, but get it, 5 days early if you pay extra. So it's not really Day 1 then, is it? If you can get it 5 days early. So they play on people's FOMO. Like, I bought Starfield 5 days early because I'm an idiot. It's like I could have just waited a week and then played it, but like that's how they get people. People who are like obsessed with Call of Duty will pay the extra money to play it early for sure. So that's probably what they'll do. I imagine they're gonna have their cake and eat it. Free on Game Pass, but also buy it early if you want it.
I think the reason I got the 5 days past there is because I've been like pressured to do this, so we can do a podcast about the early access.
Yeah, it's true. We need to buy every single one because we do a podcast. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But I was also going to say that the only reason I could see about the parity thing, like keeping parity completely the same with PlayStation, is that I feel like maybe this is a long play from Xbox to try and get Game Pass onto PlayStation. That does seem to be their long-term goal, and I don't ever see it happening, but that is something they really want PlayStation to give in and put... I mean, if Xbox buys every company into the sun and there's literally they own everything, then PlayStation don't really have a choice, do they? They'll have to put it on PlayStation, but...
I mean, Microsoft had the money to just buy Sony. Just fucking buy Sony out. They could just do that. They got the money for it.
No, they got enough money to buy Nintendo.
Just buy them out.
I would hate that. You get Nintendo first. Get everyone just...
Oh my god.
It's
chaos. It'd be chaos. Chaos.
The Netflix of gaming will become pure power.
Oh, Jesus.
Mario on Game Pass, yes please.
More like
fucking
Disney,
worst nightmare. My worst nightmare. Not be... Oh, yeah, well...
The Disney of gaming.
Oh, Jesus. And that's not a good place either right now. Disney aren't exactly wowing anyone with their IP handling. True. So, yeah. Less said about that, the better.
We joke. I'm happy that we got Activision done, but I wouldn't want them to buy any of the other two big three. I wouldn't want them to buy Nintendo or Sony, no. I wouldn't want them to buy Steam either, really. That's another option that's on the table. Yeah, I mean, I've always said Sega seems the most logical for me for them, but we'll see what happens when it comes to that. But yeah, as I said, I feel like this is them trying to play friendly with Sony. and Sony just don't care. They're like, nah, we hate you. Go away, Xbox, die. Die in a hole. It's like, oh, okay. We just want to be friends, PlayStation. No. No, I'm not going to be friends with you.
Well, I mean, we got change of leadership coming in now for PlayStation. So
that's true.
But yeah, you'll never see Game Pass on PlayStation ever. Literally ever. This would be one of those things now where it'd be like flash forward 3 years, right? And then it'd be like, welcome Game Pass to PlayStation. Woohoo! But no, I could never see it. Never see it.
We never. Sonic will never be on a Nintendo console, you know.
Yeah, all these...
There's stuff like that, there's, you know...
Resident Evil 4, when they were like, it will never... I will chop off my own head before it leaves GameCube.
Yes.
This Christmas, welcome to PS2. It's like 3 months later.
It's on literally everything now.
Yeah.
It's on literally everything now.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. So, yeah, the APK deal is done. Is there anything else we wanted to talk about before we move on to the partner preview, because we've got loads to get through? We've been talking for like an hour or so, I think, already.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the next bit of news? Yeah, so Xbox had a brand new showcase called the Partner Preview. They keep changing their showcase format, and I don't know why. Just stick to one, Xbox, please, because it's getting annoying. This one was more like the state of play, but it didn't have the voiceover thing saying, coming to PlayStation next year. It didn't have any of that. Apart from that, it's pretty much exactly the same as the state of play. Yeah, they didn't. The main thing me and Alice reacted to, you can see the whole reactions on the channel. I might be blabbering a little bit here, sorry. You can watch the whole reactions on the channel, but the main thing that we got excited for was Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. And I'm glad we got Davey here because he's the Metal Gear Solid fanatic expert. What did you think of Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater gameplay? Are you excited or are you trepidatious?
Oh,
what do you think?
I am in no way near trepidatious. No, I'm very excited. I'm a bit weird though. I'm a bit weird about it because it's UE5. So you always expect when it's in Unreal 5 that it's going to look amazing. And the only thing that kind of blew me away about it was the mud. There was a moment where he's walking on the riverbank and the mud is like kind of falling down into the river, and I thought, wow, that looks great. But everything else, I thought, I don't know. It looked kind of a little bit off to a certain extent. Now, I don't know if maybe they're capturing and they're trying to do it as faithfully as they can, because the shots were literally 1-to-1. Like, it showed the part where you fight, I think it's the Fear? No, it wasn't the Fear. The Pain.
Yes.
Shows the part where you fight
the bees in there.
The bee guy, yeah, the Pain.
Bees.
Yes.
It's not the Pain. That's the Pain.
That's bees. The Fear. The Fear is the guy who has the long tongue, and he's like.
And he climbs trees and stuff.
That's
yeah,
him.
I remember him.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it showed like the cave where you fight him. And so I thought, well, that looks cool.
Yes.
And they showed like a bit of the creatures and the wildlife, and they showed the part where you sneak up and fight Revolver Ocelot, where, you know, I think Eva comes in on a fucking motorbike or whatever.
Motorbike.
I think later on. Yeah, and like uppercuts him with a motorbike wheel, which, you know, how he survives that, I have no idea.
Oh, I hope they
but
keep that.
Oh,
I hope they keep that in the remake.
They will.
They better keep that in the remake.
They will.
Oh, because that's the only thing. I like the Resident Evil 4 remake, but that's the only thing is they didn't have like the over-the-top, like super crazy action scenes, which I used to love because it was so cheesy in the original. I was like, okay, it's a bit tamer. But yeah, I hope they do that. I hope they keep the So yeah, they showed that bit, and then mainly the intro, like with the bridge, where boss like breaks your arm and chucks you off the bridge. Yeah, I mean, spoilers again for Metal Gear Solid 3.
I haven't gotten that far.
It's right. It's only the start. It's fine.
If I don't say. It's literally the beginning of the game. Yeah, that's literally like the first half hour of the game. But yeah, God, I love.
I was focusing on collecting crunchy frog stuff.
I can't wait. Oh, not the frogs. Yeah, the collectibles. I wonder if they're going to let you still like be riding at the beginning, like for like 2 seconds, like you do the thing where you like take your mask off when and it's like, oh, it's riding. It's like, haha, just kidding. It's actually Snake. Like, I hope they're going to do stuff. I hope they're going to have all those silly things like they did in the originals. I hope so. It's like, have you played Metal Gear Solid 2? Yes, I have. Okay, cool. We're going to make you look like Raiden for 2 seconds. Great. Thanks, Kojima. That's so random. I love it. Oh, I love Metal Gear Solid 3. I think my favourite one's the first one, but 3 is really good as well. It's right up there.
It is great.
Oh,
Yeah, it's great.
Nostalgia. Can't wait for it.
Also, the fun thing that if you get stuck in one of those boss battles, if you just like turn it off and leave for a week, and when you return, you just end up defeating the boss there. That's clever.
Yeah. Of old age.
Yeah, guys of old age. Yeah, it is the end, yeah. There's a load of ways you can kill that guy as well. So there's... Oh, this is why I love Metal Gear so much, man. Kojima's such a genius.
He's so good. We could talk about Metal Gear all day, I swear.
With the end, you could do so many cool things in that fight. Like, even before, the first time when he gets wheeled out, if you sniper shot in there and just kill him while he's in his seat, you don't even have that boss fight. You just fight grunts in that forest. It's just wild. And it's so cool, like, the different ways you can do it. But yeah, I think after I heard that back in the day, I did the clock trick on the next go and changed it. And the thing I hope, right, and this is a really small detail, and I'm sure they're going to add all this in because otherwise it would lose its charm. But what I hope is that when you eat something dodgy, like say you eat some dodgy ration or some like out of date frog that you've had in your pocket for like a couple of days, and you get sick, right? And if you want to make you throw itself up, you go into the menu when you're on Snake's like camo selector, and you just spin like crazy, and then you come out and six it up. I hope like all this is back in it.
I love that. Yeah, they can't get rid of any of that stuff. That stuff is all so good. This is the game I'm most excited for. I was trying to think because this year's been so crazy, 2023. I'm like, what games am I actually looking forward to now in 2024? And I couldn't think of anything, but this is literally top of my list, I think, for sure. Because everything good's already come out, but this is like, can't wait to play this. I love Metal Gear Solid 3. I might actually play that later because I got it out of my collection. Might as well play Metal Gear Solid 3. So instead of talking about Metal Gear Solid 3 all day, I think we've probably talked about other things that happened in the preview as well, because we can literally talk about this all day. They also had Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, goes Animal Crossing with Donkey Island, or Donko Island. Essentially, if you don't know Like a Dragon, a.k.a. Yakuza, because they've just rebranded Yakuza to Like a Dragon now. Infinite Wealth, it seems like a game based in Hawaii, and you've got to basically try and you're part of the Yakuza, you've got to kill people and all this stuff, and it's quite like action-based and violent. But then you can take a dolphin ride and then start building your own town. And it looks like Animal Crossing. You've got like mascots and stuff. It looks really weird, but I love it. Like, why would you put Animal Crossing in an action? It's like essentially like playing like Grand Theft Auto, and it's literally suddenly you're in the middle of Animal Crossing. It doesn't make any sense, and I love it. You didn't see the trailer until just like 10 minutes ago, Davey. What do you think?
It looks nuts. I mean, it looks absolutely nuts. To see him just coming in riding a dolphin, I was already like, well, okay, right. Well, this has got my attention. The only thing that's missing from this trailer, because I thought it was a spectacular trailer, is there's no sharks. It's the only thing that put me off. I didn't see... If it had a shark, it would have gone up a couple of tiers, but I didn't see that. If I could ride a great white shark, potentially into some kind of battle, you got my money immediately. But
never know.
Yeah, it could be there. It could be there. Put a freaking laser beam on his head as well, and then done. It's hitting everything.
Laser beam.
But yeah, I thought it looked great. I thought it looked really fun and kooky, and that's exactly what you want with these kind of games, right?
Yeah,
it looks so weird, but I can't wait for it. I really want to play it. It looks really good. Coming out January. Alice, what do you think of this? Because I know Animal Crossing is one of your favorite games of all time. So, yes. Are you excited to play Animal Crossing, but in Yakuza? Or Like a Dragon?
I haven't played that much Yakuza or even the Like a Dragon Infinite, Like a Dragon there. But I just heard that the island building is like a side game. But it just makes me think like, I don't know if it affects the main game in some way, but I don't know whether this is considered to be like, keep playing the game, get lots of money, and then relax on the island and build random shit in it.
I mean, that seems to be what it is, yeah. You just build random shit. It's just a side quest. I mean, they said it's like 6 chapters in or something, I think I heard. So it's like not right at the beginning of the game. You have to play a bit of the game first, but you unlock it and you can just basically spend hours and hours doing that. That's what Yakuza is lately. It's just basically every game in one. because he also has like an arcade where you could go play retro Sega games and stuff like that in there. It's just insane. It's
even it's got retro games.
I've played a couple of Yakuzas, but I've never finished them. They're so much fun. Yeah, it does. There's an arcade you could go to and play retro games.
It just reminds me of Shenmue,
which is great.
Where you can get retro arcade games in there. So, didn't know that Yakuza or Like a Dragon's got like arcade games into it. So that's interesting.
Oh yeah, I need to play more Like a Dragon. I really enjoyed Like a Dragon because I was like the only good game on the Xbox launch, but I never finished it. I need to go back and play it. It was so much fun. I need to go back and play it some more. And then the only other thing really worth talking about in the partner preview was Alan Wake 2. We got a gameplay trailer and we had a launch trailer, and the reviews have come out and it's doing really well. Possible game of the year. Davey, you're the survival horror expert. Are you excited to play Alan Wake? Because I don't think you've played it yet, have you?
No, I have not. Yeah, I'm really excited too. It's going to be a game that I'm going to tick off before the end of the year to include it in the Game of the Year discussion. I've never played Alan Wake, so the only game I've played from Remedy so far is Control, and I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was that good. I didn't know why it was hyped up as well as it is, but I enjoyed it enough, right? And that's in the same universe. But Alan Wake Remastered, I bought it when it came out on PS5. And it's been in the wrapping. So I literally unwrapped it just before Spidey turned up. So it's unwrapped, it's installed, but it's not had the joy of being booted yet. So I'm going to get that done and then move on to Alan Wake 2. But I'm very excited. And as you said, it's coming in like a high 80s, I think, on Metacritic, which is really good.
90s, so, yeah.
I think it got dropped down, I think. I think it's down to an 89 now, I think. But still, anything in the 80s is always decent, right? So so that's not bad at all. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and the gameplay, launch trailer and everything. All the trailers so far have been fantastic. I think they've been so good. Yeah. So yeah, really looking forward to diving into this one. Now, is this one that you will kind of man up a bit for, Lewis? Do you think, or is this still kind of too borderline for you? No.
I was going to say, like, the original Alan Wake is more of an action game, and even that was a bit scary for me. This is, like, proper survival horror from what I've heard. That one, like, the trailer they showed in the preview with the woman with, like, two heads, and like a... I don't know what that was about. That was weird, like, floating body and all this. That was really surreal and creepy. I'm a bit scared of this game. I do want to play it. I had so much fun with Resident Evil 4 at the beginning of the year that I'm really, like, I kind of want to play another survival horror game after playing Resident Evil 4. So I'm, like, tempted, but I'm like, is it going to be too scary for me? I don't know. And also, I really liked Control. I didn't think it was, like, the best game ever, like some people was, like, say, like, Game of the Year and stuff, but I enjoyed Control. I thought it was good.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm going to try it at some point, but I don't want to pay full price for it, especially when I've got, like, Spider-Man 2, Mario, Forza. I got so many games to play already. I'm like, I probably, maybe I'll get it for Christmas. That'll be a good one to get. A nice and spooky Christmas present for myself.
Yeah.
It looks good, though. I've heard good things. And IGN gave it a 9. IGN actually reviewing a game properly for once. What's going on?
Passport.
And I'm not going to let it go. Because I heard you mentioning me on the podcast, like when I listened to your podcast.
Yeah, I did, yeah. I had a nice little dig. I had a nice little dig in there. Did an impression of you, I think.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, man.
But yeah, apparently it's 2 points better than Starfield, apparently. Who knew?
A point better than Spidey.
IGN.
Point better than Spidey, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I'm only kidding anyway. But yeah, it's but yeah, if you've got any interest in this, Alice, because I haven't really heard from you. What do you think about Alan Wake 2? Are you going to try it out?
I don't mind checking it out. I think that Alan Wake 2 is supposed to be scarier, but then that's like comparing Doom 3 to the original Doom, where they get scarier. But then as long as you don't get a bit worked up about it. You just end up enjoying it and enjoy all the horror things. But I think, to be honest, the scares in Doom 3 is kind of a bit ham-fisted, which is why the 2016 is just like, just perfect balance. But Alan Wake 2 is just like cranks up the horror, even though it comes from someone who hasn't even checked out Alan Wake to a huge extent.
Yeah, me too. I haven't finished Alan Wake 1. I played it a little bit, but I never finished it. And Doom 3 made me shit my pants. God, that game was scary. I didn't like it. I remember that's the biggest jump scare I've ever had. Just I was in the bathroom in Doom 3, looking in the mirror, just jumping around, pissing about, and then the mirror just blew up. And it's like, boom! And I was like, ah! I almost had a heart attack. I was like, the biggest jump scare I've ever had in my life was Doom 3. I'm like, no, I'm never going back to that ever again. Screw that.
Well, then again, potatoes
nice
got soil all around themselves, so bit of earth.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. It's on brand. It's on brand. Yeah, it's on brand. For God's sake, Luce, don't play Dead Space, mate. Honest to God, I don't think you'll survive.
Oh my God.
I don't think you'll survive.
I have played Dead Space. I beat Dead Space 2 back in the day, and I think I did beat Dead Space 1 back in the day as well.
Oh, well, you should be fine then.
Back in the day.
Because that the section with the hunter in Dead Space 1 is fucking scary. Like, it's scary. Not jumpy, but it's just terrifying. I remember screaming the entire way through. Like, thank God I don't include my audio on my game reviews, because I was like that entire time. I was like, just running for my life. So I think you would, if you hadn't already, at that point you want to make sure that you've gone to the toilet beforehand, because as Alice said, you would soil yourself.
Good idea.
Yeah, you would.
So if anyone's interested in playing a good. Yeah, if anyone's interested in playing a good horror game, Dead Space 1 is now on Game Pass as of today or yesterday. So it's a nice little spooky horror game for you guys. If you're on Game Pass, obviously. But yeah, because you highly recommend this game before. I remember you saying that, because Resident Evil 4 was my favourite horror game of the year. And you were saying, Dead Space is better. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay, I'll have to check that out then.
I remember when I went to the university there, when Dead Space came out and I was in the university class, I think everyone's all talking about it and how you sever limbs with your pistols. So it was a huge talk back then. But I certainly miss my university for all this banter there. And now I'm just on my own.
Me too. Oh. In the other dimension, because you're a ghost.
Plastic dimension, actually.
Dead Space. I did like Dead Space 2 in that back in the day. I remember the babies, the baby aliens, which are creepy as hell. Oh no.
Oh yeah. In Dead Space 2, there's this moment where you go into it's kind of like a nursery, or like American they call it a kindergarten or something. And Jesus Christ. The worst part about Dead Space 2, right, is, and this part's just seared into my mind, is just you're on this eye operating. You got to get the marker signal out of your body.
That. Yeah.
Oh, and I hate eyes being touched, man. I hate it. I can't.
Yeah,
when it comes to drops, I get hay fever really bad. And in the summer, I'm like a proper pansy, because I remember I was at Download Festival, right, and hay fever was really bad, and my dad was there, and he's like, "I'd put this drop in," and I was like, no," and he had to pin me down. It's like Clockwork Orange, to get drops in, and so to on that bit on Dead Space 2 where you got to put that needle in, I was doing it, and you got to pay close attention so you don't stab yourself, but I couldn't watch it, so I was as I was going down. Oh my God, mess me up, man. Mess me up. See it into my brain.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, there's a clip in Baldur's Gate 3 I keep seeing where there's a worm crawls in someone's eye, and I'm like, nope, not playing that today. That's a no from me.
So,
because they keep showing the gameplay. Oh my God.
So that, along with dogs dying,
anyway, eye stuff
is no game.
Yes, yeah. For me, if a dog dies, that's a 0 out of 10. eyeballs getting touched, that's going to be added to my list of 0 out of 10 qualities in a game. Yes, I think we're going to add that to the list. But, Resident Evil 4 did have a redemption because they didn't actually kill the dog. They only killed the dog in the demo. So, there you go. True story. So we've got a couple little bit more news stories, and then we'll get on to our topic of the show. We're just having a lot of fun chatting. I'm enjoying myself, but obviously it's going to be a long episode probably, so we'll probably try and crack on. So Xbox has overheld its leadership. Sarah Bond is now the president of Xbox, but Phil Spencer's the leader of gaming. I don't know. They've moved a load of people around. The only real good thing about this is that Bethesda is now going to be working closer with Xbox, so they should hopefully avoid having another Redfall situation. I mean, that's literally the only thing you really should take away from this, is that essentially they're going to try and stop developers making shit games, and they're basically going to be a bit more there's going to be a bit more collaboration between groups. That's literally all I've heard about this. I mean, have you read up on this, Alice, at all? Because I only really read over this briefly.
I just kind of heard about this, but I don't think there's huge changes. But I heard that Sarah Bond and someone else has got promotions, and then I found out that Sarah Bond is president of Xbox.
Is it Matt
Booty as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Matt Booty has been promoted as well. And it's basically they've tied Bethesda in closer to Xbox now. It's more of because essentially Bethesda is kind of his own entity, and the leader of Bethesda someone just left Bethesda. I can't remember.
P. Hines, wasn't it?
Now.
P. Hines, isn't it?
Yeah, P. Hines just left. So now basically there's a power vacuum, and now Xbox have filled it in, and they've moved a load of people around. So there's just a lot of shifting parts. It's business. It's not probably going to affect anything that we see, apart from hopefully we won't get another Redfall situation. Hopefully, that's the only positive you really get from it, and shouldn't really make much difference. I like Sarah Bond. It's cool that she's getting a promotion. She seems really like a decent person from what I can tell, and I think she's probably next in line after Phil Spencer retires as the next president of Xbox, I imagine. But yeah, I think
as long as she don't
not
get
really much to say
Jim
about this,
Ryan,
really.
Then that's fine.
Yeah, don't get involved. Yeah,
you guys might start selling some consoles if you got old Jim Ryan in for you guys. Whoa!
Oh my god! Bobby Kotick's going to be out of a job at the end of the year. Maybe he might join PlayStation.
Oh god! Well, we could get him in. To be fair,
imagine Bobby Kotick.
To be fair, yeah. I don't think we really need that kind of sex scandal in the PlayStation Nation, but he can put out games though. Bobby Kotick, he can put out games, so I got to give him that.
Yeah, I mean he did well for your Call of Duty. You love Call of Duty,
yeah,
so he's doing something right.
Yeah, shame he's got to touch up all. Shame he's got to have rampant everything else going on and shitloads of monetization at the wazoo. Yeah, let's move on from that. Let's move on. Let's move on quick.
So the only other thing I wanted to talk about in the news was
Kennedy
our Fantasy
working
League.
for PlayStation or Xbox.
Oh god.
Kathleen
Kennedy, well, that's
Oh god, no.
Yeah,
no.
Xbox is going to get all woke, man.
Oh no. Oh yeah.
It's super woke, you know.
It could always get worse, couldn't it, Alice? That's the thing. It could always just get worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose that's the one thing we could be grateful for, is that Kathleen Kennedy is not involved, because certainly hasn't done wonders for Star Wars.
But surely it's going to be a step up from Jim Ryan and Bobby Kotick, whoever replaces him. Surely.
I like Jim.
There's got to be a step.
I like Jim Ryan. Oh, stand for this on Jim Ryan. The GOAT. He's the GOAT.
He was good for business, but for consumers, he wasn't so great. That's the way I always see Jim Ryan.
Yeah, that's
personally.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So the only other news I wanted to discuss briefly was the Fantasy League. I don't know if you've been following this, Davey, that we have a league, a Fantasy Critic League, where we pick games that we think are going to review well. I got Alan Wake 2, so I'm chuffed. And I've actually started to catch up with Alice. who have ran away with it at the beginning of the year, but I'm actually starting to close the gap. I would love for you guys to actually get involved next year. We could maybe do it like in January or something. It'd be wicked if we could do that. Because we did make you a team, but you're kind of in third place. But that's because I don't know. I did try and give you some good games, I swear.
I'm going to load this up now. Let's see what shit you laid at our doorstep, shall we? Let's have a little
look. I gave
look.
you Spider-Man.
Sony Pony, right? Let's have a look at these. If I click on it, can I see what's in our list? Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. Spoken, brilliant. Okay.
It was a Sony exclusive, and I didn't think it'd be bad when I put it in there, to be fair.
Dear God.
I didn't plan that.
Oh, yeah.
I got Redfall.
Most of these are out next year, aren't they? Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Oh, we got
Helldivers in there.
You put Exo Primal in our list. Oh, my God.
After you loved the beta, I was like, oh, yeah, they'll definitely want Exo Primal.
What is this? What is this list? Oh my! I can't believe Exo Primal's there. That's wild. Although absolutely wild. Although you do have 40k Space Marine 2 in there, and I reckon that's going to be a banger.
Yeah.
I reckon that's going to bang this year.
And I know Phil loves his Warhammer, so anytime there's a Warhammer game come out, I put it in your team straight away. It's like, yeah, go on. I'm sure Phil will love that if we put that in there. So
it's even
and
worse
I made
when
sure
it's
all the
like,
PlayStation exclusives are on there.
It's kind of bad at it's all done by AI. So I think next year we're going to get the PlayStation guys in and kind of like beat Potato down to third place.
Oh, wow, okay. Is that what we're playing it now, is it? Wow, okay.
Yeah, you do
I can still beat you. The year's not over. I got Mario RPG. I can still come back.
The worst thing is, you don't even have the worst game in this list. You put Crime Boss Rocky City in ours. Jesus Christ. Like, I thought, oh yeah, you got Redfall, that's a damn shame on your list. But then I look at our list on here and think, well, that game, Jesus Christ. Alice, mind, you've had a great run on yours.
I know.
It's true. Actually, yeah, it's true. Yeah, that IGN screwed that one over as well.
Game. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's IGN's fault. IGN's fault, reviewed all your games too low.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm hoping that next year we can get one of you guys on. You can pick your own games. Right. That'll be much nicer.
Deal.
I feel bad. I tried my best. I tried to give you good games. I swear.
Yeah.
You got Spider-Man 2.
That's true.
And Final Fantasy.
You got Stellar Blade. Yeah. Just shame it's probably not out this year. But never mind. Yeah. I'll make that
basically,
a vow.
I went through all the PlayStation exclusives. Yeah.
I'll make a vow for next year.
I made up.
We'll come on. Me or Phil, one of us. We'll come on.
Cool.
And we'll put a list out.
That'd be fun. I think that'd be a lot of fun. We just do have like a draft episode. It's a lot of fun doing a draft. I thought I'll give you all the PlayStation's exclusives. I thought that would just make sense. And then, yeah. Some of, Forspoken did not turn out great. But then I got Redfall, so it's all good. Alice is never going to let it go. She's going to be bragging about this all year. I can already tell.
I'm not. I haven't been talking about
league. If you guys want to follow the fantasy league,
though.
No, you're destroying it. You took an early lead, and I've just not been able to catch you.
Well, the trouble is,
ridiculous.
There's no release dates for the Hollow Knight, Silksong, and Sword of the Sea, and there's no updates on any of them.
Yes.
So I just really want to replace them. I tried to drop one of them. It's just like, oh, you can't drop a game now, not even conditional drops. And like, oh, come on, I need to get Dungeons 4 in it. And like, well, no, there's no point. I mean, have I actually dropped a will-release game before? Oh my gosh. Like, you literally dropped a will-release game.
There must be a way of doing it.
Sorry?
I'll have to look in the rules of how to do it. I'll look up how to do it. I'll have to look in the rules. I'm not sure how it works. I'm sure you can drop games, though. I've dropped games in the past. Yeah.
Can't in the moment. It's just
I think it has to have a release date that says 2024. If it hasn't got a release date, I think you can't drop it. But if it says it's coming out 2024 or has a firm release date for 2024, you can drop it, I think. I think that's how it works.
They they all got TBAs, unfortunately.
But yeah, I love the fantasy draft. It's so much fun. It's so much fun, the fantasy draft, but I want to win next year, I swear. I'm determined to win next year. There's a lot less games to pick next year, I must say, because this year was stacked. Like, you could just take one of our lists and you've got a really good list of games to play there. Just one of our free lists and you'd be good. So even the PlayStation list is pretty decent, I think. I tried. Anyway, should we move on to our topic of the show?
Let's do this!
Ooh. Topic of the show! Ooh, spooky time! This is our spooky top... Well, it was going to be our top 5 list when it was just being Davey, but it's 3 of us. I think talking about 15 games is going to be a bit overkill, so should we just stick it down to 3? Our top 3, okay. I think, is a better idea. So, maybe we do some honourable mentions as well of games that no one brings up if we think it's worth talking about.
Yeah, but could
I'm going to get my list up because I can't remember what I put as my top 3. Yeah, so I've been using the IGN Lists app, which is it's good for correlating your game collections and stuff. I use the GG app as well, which is quite good, but it's a bit more. The IGN one's actually a bit more flexible, so you can put stuff in different orders and stuff. So I think that's the way I correlate stuff. So I've got a little group of 26 games that I consider my favourite spooky games, and now I'm trying to figure out what's my number 1, what's my number 2, and what's my number 3. I'm on the spot. Okay, so Davey, as you're our guest, do you want to go first or last? It's up to you. Or middle, I suppose.
I'll kick it off if you want. Are we doing it round so we all do our number 3s and then go on to our number 2s and do our number 1s? Or do you want just my... Yeah, okay. So,
so this is our spooky... I just wanted to obviously preference it before... Sorry, I didn't really mention it. So it's our top 3 spooky games. That doesn't necessarily mean horror. That means games that are... supernatural or have something to do with Halloween or something, or so if you this is a game you're like, ooh, it's Halloween, I like pumpkins and I got my pumpkin spice latte and all that shite, you're like, ooh, I want to do something Halloweeny. These are the kind of games you could play. So that's more of less what this is about. So sorry to interrupt you, but go ahead. What is your number 3? Davey?
Yeah, so I originally wrote a number 5 list, and I had a rule for this. So I wasn't going to include more than 1 game per franchise, and I wanted to have things that were generally accessible by all, even though my number 1 is not. But we were doing top 3. I'm going to spice up my order. So this now is not a totally accurate list, but I think it should be a better list for this. So my number 3 is coming in by Dead by Daylight. I adore Dead by Daylight. It's something that is definitely spooky by nature. It's got moments where it can be absolutely balls to the wall terrifying at times, when you got the huntress hunting you around, singing her little lullaby, and it's available everywhere. And this time of year, especially around Halloween, it's a great time to dive in. They do loads of updates around this time of year specifically. And you've just had brand new killers in with the likes of the Xenomorph. And before that, you had new survivors with Nick Cage himself. So it's a great time to dive in. Me and Spence play Dead by Daylight all the time. We absolutely sweat it. That's going to be my number 3.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah, that's the 4v1 multiplayer game, isn't it? There's a lot of games similar to it coming out, like knockoffs, the Chainsaw Massacre game just came out. I think that was 3v1 or 3v2 or something. I can't remember how that one works.
It was so it's 2 teams. It's 2 teams of you got survivors, which I think is 4 survivors, and I think it's 3 killers. I think. But yeah, so it's another asymmetric multiplayer game. But Dead by Daylight just does it so well.
Nice.
Kind of reminds me of
do you want me to go next,
Hidden,
or Alice, do you want to go next? It's up to you.
Goes where you just have to play as a Hidden, and you're supposed to kill all the people with guns there. I think it was a free game, but yeah, it's still incredibly fun. Not gonna lie.
So, do you want to go next, Alice, or do you want me to go?
Go ahead. I'm just gonna go for the first one on the list, which is Splatterhouse 2 on the Sega Mega Drive.
Ooh. Oh, I like it. Retro game. I love it. I haven't even thought of any retro games. That's good. I like that.
It's just the atmosphere, the craziness.
Splatterhouse 2, let me get in character.
Yeah.
The guy from Splatterhouse looks like Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
He has this mask.
But yeah,
that game's
so
fun.
I think it's so great. Once you
sorry,
get the
I
whole
interrupted you.
amphisphere, the controls are pretty simple. You just like all you have to do is like go around a linear level and time your kicks and everything. But I think it's just like all those abominations you have to kill off, and also the music like really digs. Like, if you want a more variable gameplay, Splatterhouse 3 is there, but Splatterhouse 2 is like it's pretty much a top like spooky game to check out. And this one is a bit of an obscure one because I don't think it's been re-released anywhere else apart from certain collections. So if anyone knows how to play Splatterhouse 2 legitimately, then let us know in the comments below.
Love it. That's awesome choice. I love that. So good. My number 3 is... I don't know if you guys are probably going to argue with me with this one, probably. I don't think it's traditionally a spooky game. But my number 3 is Metroid Dread. The Metroid series is highly based on the Alien series, and you have to explore a spaceship, and you have the Emmys, which chase you down and are bloody terrifying. And it's actually my favourite Metroid game, and I think that's a controversial take because everyone says Super Metroid's better, but Metroid Dread is so... Have you played Metroid Dread? It's so good.
Yeah, I loved it.
It's so good. I love it.
Yeah, huge Metroid fan. And yeah, I'd definitely say that's spooky. Those robots are terrifying, and they're solid.
They're
terrifying.
Absolutely
Fucked my ass when I was playing that game. Couldn't believe how hard it was. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, just literally just killing me all the time.
You can't kill him.
Well, no. That's
that game is so...
Good game.
I've actually got Metroid Dread on the Switch. I think it was about 2 years ago. That one's like really incredible, and I definitely paid full price for it. And it's just like, it's such an amazing game, which is sadly that hasn't been talked much about it. But it's just kind of funny you mentioned Dread as a spooky thing. But I think it's really tame compared to Metroid Fusion, which is the next one on my list, because the atmosphere is much darker.
Too.
There's Parasite X that just like goes into like other creatures and steal their DNA, which turns into like actual monsters, and it's just so crazy. Also, it's got that like huge tension and all the atmosphere, and it's just something like I always come back and listen to this music there because it's just so atmospheric, and it was like so brilliant. Which just makes me feel glad that you can actually play this on like Switch Online thing. So it's really good. We got this back in like 2002.
Fusion,
Got it for Christmas, and I think it's just like really fantastic.
So with Davey's rule where he said only one game of each franchise, I've done that as well. So I mean, I could have put Metroid Prime, I could have put Super Metroid. There's so many choices, but I went with Dread purely because the enemies are bloody terrifying, and then you can't kill them. They're all brilliant though. If you're a fan of Aliens, I mean the main bad guy Ridley is named after Ripley from Aliens. I mean, a lot of it is inspired by Aliens. So if you like, if you like Aliens, this is a spooky game. So I thought I like
Aliens, you should play Scorn on
from you guys,
Xbox
but you
Game
guys seem
Pass.
to be cool with that. So no, not Scorn.
No,
Don't bring
don't
up
know.
Scorn. Oh no. Ugh. No.
Yeah, I'll leave that one.
No. Davey, what is your number 2?
So my number 2, if I was ranking this on like the best survival horror, then I'd have to go for Resident Evil Remake here. But I'm not. I'm doing this on just spooky games that I feel that you guys might want to play. And so I've gone for a game that I believe is on Xbox Game Pass for you, and that is The Evil Within 2. I'm pretty sure it's on Game Pass right now, and it's a game that I would thoroughly recommend it for both of you. Honestly, I really would. It's incredible. So The Evil Within 1 is solid. It's really hard, and it's kind of crushingly hard at times. It's actually a bit unfair. Evil Within 2 puts it into like a kind of semi-open world, and it's just amazing. It improves on the original in like every single way. You don't really have to have played the original to dive into this. It's got some great set pieces. It's really tense throughout when you're sneaking around using stealth. And it's got these moments where you go into... It's all side quest content, but you go into like these buildings and you'll have just this ghost that appears that is just fucking terrifying. So scary, so spooky. It is so atmospheric. It's so well done. The gameplay absolutely bangs. It's one of the best games that I've played in the survival horror genre in my life. It's absolutely fantastic. I really highly recommend it.
High praise.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely adore it. And it's not my favourite in the survival horror franchise. Survival horror genre. It's not my favourite. But god damn it, it gets up there. It's definitely up there. Highly, highly recommended.
Yeah.
And that's a good choice too.
For people who don't really know Davey's work, he has a YouTube channel where he...
Yeah, it's a good choice too because it's made by the same developers of like Hi-Fi Rush, which is why there's a bit of an Easter egg which suggests that Evil Within 3 could be coming like sooner than expected. But I think if you enjoy Hi-Fi Rush, then you could try Ghostwire Tokyo, or you can get to some real good stuff by playing the Evil Within series.
Yeah, the only
I was going to say that...
Oh, sorry, Karen.
No, I was just going to say, for people who are not aware of Davey's work, he has a YouTube channel where he talks just about survival horror games. So saying this is one of his favourite survival horror games is very high praise, because I think you're probably my go-to person when I need someone to talk about survival horror games. Like, I would say you are the expert, so... If anyone says it's a good survival horror game and Davey says that, I think that's a high praise. I just thought I'd obviously mention that for people who are not aware of your like channels and stuff.
Thanks,
but, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Davey.
Yeah, the only thing that kind of sheds a bit of doubt on Evil Within 3 is because Shinji Mikami's moved on now, hasn't he? He's no longer at Tango.
Yes.
So with him going, I don't know. But then again, Evil Within 2 wasn't done by him. It was done... So he did Evil Within 1... And then for number 2, he brought one of the junior developers up to the directorial seat to be able to give him a crack, and they absolutely nailed it. So, if they put Evil Within 3 and it's Xbox exclusive, I will buy an Xbox for it. I will buy one, frame one. Yeah, I adored Evil Within 2 so much. So yeah, that would be something that would make me buy a console.
The only thing is, with the Bethesda leak that happened a couple of weeks ago, it had Ghostwire Tokyo 2 as their next project from Tango, so that's probably more likely going to be the next game, unfortunately. But
damn shame.
I would love an Evil Within 3. I've heard it's good. That's a really interesting choice. I like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try and download that on Game Pass now. That's you make me second guess my list here. I'm like, maybe I should have put that out there. Alice, what's your number 2?
Well, I did mention the Metroid Fusion, and the fact that Davey said it's like one per each franchise, and I'm like, I'm not sure I would go ahead with it, but to be honest, I think I'll just like stick with another retro game because I think no one's gonna end up picking it. So, the second one, it'll be the Ooze on the Sega Mega Drive. This game is a very obscure one. It's one of the developers behind Comic Zone, where apparently you get turned into slime, but you just brought in and you just go in and like kill people as you go around the top-down wasteland, so you can collect all that slime and collect all the DNA. But yeah, it's just really crazy because it's not just like you're just a slime there. You just often like shown like a skeleton with all that ooze over it, and also you get people's screams as you kill
Christ, Alice, this is dark.
And then you just go through
this
pipes
is dark as hell.
And kill all the creatures. It's just really insane. I mean, I thought, wow, that's crazy. And then people are literally scared by how disturbing it is.
Yeah, it sounds really messed up. So you're just a killer slime. What did you say this game's called?
Ooze. I'm gonna put this up on the YouTube channel.
Ooze.
If my internet connection
pull this up. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this
fast.
up.
But yeah, it's made by the same developers of Comic Zone, which I think I did mention it twice before. But there's also the same developers, which I believe they worked on I think it was the Sonic 2 or some sort. But anyway, I'm just gonna put this into chat just to speed things up.
Sonic 2. I love your deep cuts, Alice. I'm loving this. This is brilliant. I'm not expecting anything like this. I love it.
I'm looking at this right now, this ooze, and he is terrifying. It is literally just a ball. Ooh. It's just a gunk puddle with a face with teeth on it. Absolutely terrible. It's the stuff of nightmares. This, I might not be able to sleep tonight. This looks absolutely so messed up.
Damn.
This game.
I just cannot believe you guys have never heard of this game.
Love this one, Alice. Love it.
I just can't believe you just
never
stuck to your PlayStations and Nintendo so much that you didn't notice what really awesome shit that Sega comes out with. So I just couldn't believe you guys haven't heard of this. It's crazy, isn't it?
I was a Mega Drive kid. I was a Mega Drive kid, and I think there's probably a reason why I never had this. I think my mum probably looked at this and thought, my little boy's not going to be playing the U's. No chat, no siree. But I feel like I've really been let down. I feel like my childhood was ruined by not playing the U's now. And looking at this, it looks... Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for this, Alice. I have to try and buy the U's now.
Thanks, Alice. You've scarred us for life.
But yeah, it's just I can't blame you anyway, because I have never heard of this game before, until the 21st century. But I heard of Comic Zone, but I think that Ooze is a very rare title until it's got mentioned on Sonic Mega. I think it's Sonic Mega Collection Plus. It's got featured in it, but I think certain Mega Drive collections has got this. I don't know if it's on Switch Online, but if it doesn't, then put this game into it. That would be great.
Well, the one good thing about it,
crazy.
The one good thing about it is that it looks like it's relatively cheap to buy. So it looks like you can get it for... Some people are selling it for £5, and others are selling it for £95. So I think I'm going to have to shop around for the U's, and this might be a game that I play next Halloween. Prep me for it. I think I need a year build up for the U's.
Spoiler cast, Ooze spoiler cast incoming, guys. I love it. I love your deep cuts, Alice. They're bloody brilliant. I love it.
I just wondered if it's actually on Steam.
Should I say my number 2 now?
Oh, go ahead. I'll just try to look for this thing.
I'm sure we could. So, do any of you guys have any indie games on your list? Or is they AA your number ones?
No, mine are all AA, AAA.
AAA, yeah. Alice?
Well,
I've lost Alice.
I think the trouble is that trying to decide on number 1 though. I mean, I don't know if we're on that, but Halo Combat Evolved is going to be number 1 and just serve as a
I'm on my number 2.
Is it? Oh, why?
Oh, fair. I'm on my number 2. No, it's because I was going to say there's 6 indie games here, and I can't decide which one I want as my number 2, and I'm really struggling. So I'm ooh. That's why I just wanted to kind of quick shout out before I actually reveal my number 2 is. So I was just going to mention quickly, Doki Doki Literature Club. That game is creepy. If you've ever seen that, that's mad. Inscription, spooky card game, really good. Definitely check that out. Limbo, black and white platformer where you're a little boy who gets chased by spiders and it's terrifying. And also Inside, made by the same people. And then obviously Vampire Survivors. I love Vampire Survivors. It's not really spooky, but you are a vampire and you do kill things. And it's very Castlevania-esque. But my number 2 is Undertale. Because you talk to skeletons and stuff, and it is sort of spooky. It's not scary at all. But the music is absolutely fantastic, and the world is very supernatural. No, but it's very supernatural because you've got talking skeletons and stuff and monsters, and it's that's what my logic anyway. I think I might get some heat from this one. I'm not sure. Well, what do you think?
Oh, I was waiting just in case
Anyone?
Alice wanted to go. Yeah, yeah, I love Undertale. So I came to Undertale really late. Actually, I came really late to it. I think when I first started my YouTube channel, it was one of the first games I reviewed, just because I had it. Don't know how I had it, and ended up playing it through. And the thing that makes it spooky is that you realise that you yourself are the monster. So I didn't realise there was a way to get out of the house without killing my own mother on the first time. So, she's like blocking the door. Yeah, I killed her straight away, frame one.
Yeah, I did that. Me too.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then I felt like such a bastard, man. And then literally just killed everyone I could. Literally didn't spare anyone.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was an
psycho.
Yeah, absolute nutcase. Yeah, literally an absolute nutcase. And I realised that maybe this is me. Maybe this is my problem. Maybe I am just a psychopath. So, but yeah, I think it is. I think it is a bit spooky, though. It is spooky. There's definitely parts where it's a bit spooky, for sure. Even though it's all tongue in cheek.
It's all tongue in cheek. It is silly. Like Papyrus is a ridiculous character, but he is a skeleton. So I mean, I absolutely adore Undertale. It's one of my favorite games ever. It's like so good. It's just I love the world, the setting, the gameplay, this art style, the music, just everything about it. I just adore it. I think the fan base might have kind of ruined it a little bit for some people, and obviously it's become a bit of a meme now to hate on Undertale, but God, I love that game. It's so good. And obviously Sans is like the biggest, baddest boss ever, which is, everyone knows, Megalovania. But no, as you said, you could do a genocide run, or you could have a really happy run where you do a pacifist. The first time I played it, I killed Tyrell, I think her name's Tyrell, which is your mother, as you said. I killed her as well because I couldn't figure out how to save her. But that was the only person I killed in the whole run. And then the second run, I managed to do it without killing anyone, which was nice. But yeah, it's but I never could bring myself to do the genocide run. I just find it too. I'm just like, it's too harsh. Like apparently the music gets like distorted and people disappear off the map because like they know that you've killed. They like the people are actually scared of you and stuff, and your character changes and all. It's like really well done. It's really clever. And I adore Undertale. Have you ever played Undertale, Alice?
I completed most of it before, and I think I just already done like a pacifist one, but I haven't got to that actual ending of it. But I did play the game to get all the achievements before it went off the Game Pass. So I played it on like PlayStation 4, the Xbox, and I bought it on PC like about a decade ago. So yeah, it's pretty good. But I don't really consider this game to be at all like really spooky. But I think it's just more to do a more weird, surreal, or some sort of like a subversive kind of game.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very subversive, and I like you, I own it on PC, Switch, Xbox. I think I have it on Vita, and I've got it on multiple platforms, and I've got all the achievements on it. I adore it. But it's kind of a spooky setting. But I know when you're saying it, it's not a scary game at all. But if you're like a wuss like me, and you're like, I want to do something Halloweeny, play Undertale, and you're not going to be scared, but you can have fun. And it's like, yay, skeletons and stuff.
It's the horror equivalent of going out dressed as a witch on Halloween where you got a black bin bag on. It's not scary in any way, shape, or form, but it's still spooky. You can still say, "Oh yeah, it is kind of Halloween-y," right? I guess you could make that stretch.
What I was going to say is, what I consider it like is if you're binge watching The Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors on Halloween, like that's your Halloween treat, is to watch all this, because they're not scary, they're very silly, but they're Halloween themed. So they're called Treehouse of Horrors. So, and I love a good old Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, to be fair. That's what my plan is for Halloween, by the way. I'm just going to watch some Treehouse of Horrors and play some spooky games that are not going to scare me and make me cry and soil myself as a potato. Oh, God.
Oh, dear.
So have we all done on them? Is that all our second places done, I think?
Yeah.
Does anyone want to make any more honourable mentions before we move on to our number ones? Because I think it'd be cool if we had any games that we want to mention that no one's talked about.
I think I have a few more notable retro game mentions, well, I don't know. I'll just try to like think out. I think there's like the Hidden.
Yeah, go ahead.
That one's like pretty wild, and I really enjoy it as a multiplayer game. There's also, I think there was like some Ghostbusters games about, and I think there was like pretty crazy ones there.
Yeah.
And I think one of the first games I actually played is like Laser Ghost. So it's like an on-rails shooter for the Master System. Bring out the sapper and like shoot all the ghosts there just to protect the girl as she gets from A to B.
What? I love it. Where'd you get these games from?
What the crazy thing
I don't
is,
have a clue where you find these games.
Alice, you could be making up most of these games, and I'm so bought in for each one. I want to know more. I'm so bought into it. This latest question says nuts, but I remember the Ghostbusters game on the Sega Mega Drive. It was great. I remember playing that loads.
I was
going
to mention that
on my Mega Drive. Great game.
I really want to own or even like play it. That would be so excellent. But I think it's just like
good.
Because it's a licensed game. It's just
a couple
like
of games
really difficult to like get to check it out or some sort.
Yeah.
I probably got it somewhere. I think it might be at my mum's house. I think I still have it because I got all my Sega Mega Drive games there. So I think I probably still have it. So if you were desperate, I could probably dig it out. I know, spooky. I got two games, right? So if my top three spooky games were in order of excellence, then these two would be the top two. So, but I'm not doing it in that way. So these two honorable mentions are two of my favorite survival horror games ever made, and that is Resident Evil Remake. Coming in, that is my favorite survival horror game of all time. I know I've spent so many times on this podcast every time I come on, just raving about it. But to me, it's just the epitome of the genre. It does everything perfect.
I agree.
It's a fantastic game in every single way. It's scary as hell, even all these years later. It's fantastic on the gameplay front. The story is proper, just horror, like schlock B movie style, and it's just fantastic. And a lot of the atmosphere and world building is built up by an incredible soundtrack and amazing files, which detail some of the horrors that have happened around the mansion. So, absolutely incredible. And then my other honorable mention would be Dead Space 2. So we've already mentioned it a lot with the eye exam, but that is my favorite entry in the Dead Space franchise, and it's also my second favorite survival horror of all time. Dead Space 2 is one of my favorite games ever. I absolutely adore it.
That's amazing.
And so those would be my two honorable mentions, because my number one is a spooky game, but we'll come on to it in a moment.
See, I got a couple of honorable mentions, but I'm worried that one of the ones I'm going to say will be your Davey's number one. I have a feeling, possibly. So I'm a bit. So I'm gonna try and avoid those ones, and I'll mention it afterwards if it's not the case. So Luigi's Mansion 3 is a great game, and it's a horror game. it's like a kiddie horror game, but it's a fun game.
That's the biggest reach so far, Lewis. That's the total biggest reach so far. Got ghosts, I guess.
Bayonetta, you're a witch. That was kind of fun. Left 4 Dead 2/1. Those games are really fun, and they're zombie shooters.
Yeah.
I was going to mention Resident Evil 1, but you've already mentioned it, so that's good. Prey by Arcane Studios. That game is incredible. And System Shock /Bioshock.
Oh, yeah, Bioshock, great choice.
Yeah, also Castlevania Symphony of the Night, or just Castlevania games in general are all fantastic.
Yes.
So I've wanted to mention them before. Oh, and also Dead Rising 2, which is just silly, but I love it. Just cutting up zombies with like double-ended chainsaws and stuff is fucking brilliant. Yeah. Oh, and also the only game I think has ever made me like properly cry, The Walking Dead Season 1 by Telltale. That game, got me. Those are like, I have a list. I have a spooky list on my phone. So I'll put that in the link in the description if you guys want to see my top 26 spooky games. Ooh. They're all on there. And there's 2 more I want to mention, but I think they might be Davey. One of them might be Davey's number 1, so I'll mention them after Davey's told what his number 1 is. Speaking of which, Davey, would you like to reveal your number 1 spooky game of all time?
Now remember, this is just for this list, and I've tried to make it so you guys can access them. I tried to make it so it's for the Xbox guys, but with this one I couldn't really resist myself. And I think I don't want to go something that's too terrifying because, of course, it gets scratched off your list immediately, Lewis. So I've gone for something that you could stomach, and that is Bloodborne for my number 1. Bloodborne,
there it is. Bloodborne. That was one of the games I thought you might have been your number 1. That's why I didn't mention it. That was going to be an honourable mention.
It's my favourite Souls game by an absolute landslide. The atmosphere, the whole setting, everything about it is just so spooky, so twisted Lovecraftian. It's so goddamn good. It's incredible. I got the platinum on it. Had to run it like 7 times in a row with my character Barry Big Bollocks, and just literally sweated it. Played it over and over and over again. Just an absolutely incredible game. And, even though it's not like a survival horror or anything like that, it's definitely spooky.
No.
Definitely spooky. And so I'm putting it up there as my number 1.
It was going to be in my top 5, so it's a really good game. But I didn't really play much of it. Like it's on my YouTube channel. You can see the whole Let's Play. My friend, Dean, don't you? Smash Friend. Basically, it was me and him playing it. And he was mainly playing it, and I was just talking over it. And it was so much fun, just chatting shit while he was playing Bloodborne. It was so much fun. And that game I got really fond memories of it, even though I never really played it properly. But it is on my list of games I want to play. Like there's so many, like Lies of P just came out, and everyone says it's like very similar to Bloodborne, and I'm really tempted to play it just because of that, because I really have fond memories of Bloodborne. That game is hard, man. I suck at Souls games, but I really want to play it. After Elden Ring, I feel like I could play Souls games now. I want to try and play some more Souls games. So yeah, that's high on my list. I hope they get a remake on PS5 or like a remaster or something. If that happens, I'm totally buying it for sure, and I'm going to try it out.
But then I just beaten it on like PlayStation 4 with the Platinum as well. So if you've got the sound effect of it, might be a good time to play it.
Ooh.
So yeah, play
the sound effect, Davey.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a platinum.
But anyway, even though it came out during Easter in 2015, this one is just like really fantastic. It's such a spooky environment. Is really like melancholic and really disturbing. But I think it's got some really amazing bosses in there. And there's like even the king at the top of the church is just like so hard to beat. But all you had to do is like beat it, is to like counteract his attacks. This one is like crazy. But I think the whole thing is just like the story is really good. Roof. It's like disturbing, and all of it is just so addictive and gets this whole environment done. Also, it's the most accessible of all the Dark Souls games. So it's like, wow, it's brilliant. And it's just, in fact, there's even the PlayStation 1 remake of this, and it's done by a trans woman. So it's like, wow. It just shows like how much love is there for the game. And it's just like, cool. Given that now there's like Lies of P, which is like a follow-up to it, it's just now like, it's pretty much like Blood Bowl Fever's like coming back, but then I think it's going to be a while before we can get to hear about the remaster, remake, or port of it to the PC or some sort. Because at the moment, the only way you can play it is like on the PlayStation 4, unless it's like backwards compatible on PlayStation 5.
I think it is.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Backwards compatible?
You can play it on PS5, 100%, no problem at all. But yeah, the dream would be that you get Blue Point on it. They did such a good job with Demon Souls that if they could do Bloodborne, they'd do it so well. And Bloodborne was Sony funded, so they do own that IP, so they could just do it and say, yeah, get on it. So there's a strong chance that could happen. But then again, on in PS We Trust, we're always just wanting Blue Point to remake every single game known to man. So if they're following what we want, they've got their work cut out for them, because they're remaking Metal Gear Solid 1, they're remaking Legacy of Kain. they're doing everything as far as we're concerned. So, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and if you're an Xbox owner and you're on the because you listen to an Xbox podcast and you haven't got access to PlayStation, Lies of P is supposed to be very good and is supposed to be like a spiritual follow up. So maybe check that out, because that's on my list of bucket list of games to play. It's like top of my list, but I literally downloaded it this afternoon at the same time I downloaded Dead Space. So yeah. Alice, what is your number one spooky game of all time?
I literally came out with a list on a short whim, and I think I picked the top 3, which is so good. But Metroid's already been chosen, and there's bound to be other games that I forgot,
that's fine. You can
Bloodborne,
choose Metroid,
for instance. But I think the one on the list there but I think the one that definitely deserves to be on the list is Halo Combat Evolved.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. I didn't have the guts to say it, but I love it.
Yeah, the floods, right?
The flood level.
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
yeah.
Terrifying. I mean, it's like a horror section. I didn't have the guts to say it, but you're right. That is one of the scariest. Well, as a kid, I was terrified, but it's not that scary. But it's good. It's a cool concept. The flood, you got. Sorry, I'm kind of going off on one. I know it's your top number one. I just wanted to say, it's you start off, you're the Spartans versus the Covenant. You're like, oh, the Covenant's evil, blah, blah, blah. And then out of nowhere, you suddenly have this third threat, this other thing, and it's like visual storytelling where they tell you. You find out about the flood before you even see the flood. You see the effects of the flood. You see dead bodies and stuff. It's like, what's going on? And you're it's so good. So good. I'm sorry, Alice.
Yeah,
it's your number one. You can talk about it, but yes,
because when I first heard of Halo, it's just some kind of pseudo open world thing with action and adventure. And it's heard about it, got the Xbox, haven't got into it, and then it's just I just found out that I think it was either that for the magazines or not. But when I was playing Halo 2, it's oh, we're going as an arbiter. And then it turns out, oh, there's mutants there. And it turns out, oh, wait a minute, that's a flood?
Yeah.
It's a bit more distressing there. But I think the scariest entry when it comes to the flood is Halo 3, because you get transformations of humans and flood that once they get involved with a parasite of the flood, they end up getting turned into flood zombies, and also they did the models very well.
Yeah.
But I think Halo Combat Evolved certainly takes a top spot because it's advertised as if it's an action game, but once you get neck deep into it, you just realize, oh, wait a minute, is this actually a horror game? I literally saw the video where it has a compilation of all the people who are playing Halo, and then when they get to the I think a 343 Guilty Spark is just oh, wait a minute, is this a horror game? And that's when, I think it's just it's just how they did a spooky event stuff there. And this makes me think all games should have a degree of spookiness at some point. Conker's Bad Fur Day, you get spooky levels where one of the levels you get turned into a bat and fly around. And there's also what's that other game? Half-Life 2. It's pretty spooky because it involves head crabs, and then you get into levels where you have you get head crab zombies. You have to go around and try to survive, and those are kind of things. It's just what really takes the game to another level, because you really have to be scared in some way, and it just makes you engage with the game more. Otherwise, if you go do some typical things and then you don't have a lot of scary stuff in it, then it doesn't seem to be that boring or some sort. But when you have like spooky stuff into it, or something that is like incredibly scary or distressing, then it's just what really makes it more interesting.
Yeah. I think the Flood is like one of the best twists in like gaming for like the last couple of years. Like one of the best Xbox twists for sure. I feel like we should have had you on last. You should have had the because that was like it would have been a really fitting ending to this section of the Xbox podcast. Yeah, I adore Halo. It's like my favorite game series ever, so I'm not going to argue with that one. That's fantastic. And also the whole Season 5 of Halo Infinite is literally inspired by the Flood and stuff, so that's awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Like, if you enjoy the Flood,
I think we lost
Season
it.
5 is where it's at. It's also a shame that Halos 4 and 5 have just got crap because they don't have a Flood. Instead, they've got the Prometheans and got all this lore shenanigans in it.
Oh, yeah. No. Screw the Prometheans. There's no Prometheans. Yeah, no. Well, they kind of killed... Well, I mean, spoilers for... I always say spoilers for whatever, but that's just my thing. But Halo 3, I mean, you kind of kill off the Flood. I mean, that's the whole point, right? That's like the whole thing. But yeah, I guess that makes... Yeah, they could bring him back, though. I'm sure they will bring him back at some point. They're fan favourites, the Flood. Everyone loves the Flood. Or everyone's scared of the Flood. I don't know. Everyone's interested by the Flood, at least. So, yeah, Halo Combat Evolved is... Yeah, I probably should have said that's my number one, but it's not my number one. Should I say what my number one is?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, before I say my number one, I wanted to say what my other honourable mention was that I thought Davey might have picked. The Last of Us Part 1 is zombie fungus people.
Yes.
I love Part 1. I can't stand Part 2, but Part 1 is still one of my favourite games ever. I love the dynamic between Joel and Ellie, and yeah, and it's a really cool world and setting. Again, it's a PlayStation game, so go away, PlayStation. I kid. It's so good that they've remade it 3 or 4 times now and charge you full price each time.
Worth it every time.
And to do it to a TV show. Especially if you're Spencer, he bought it full price, didn't he? Like,
yeah, every time, day one.
But yeah, that was an honourable mention. That's not my number one. My number one is a remake of one of my favourite games of all time that was my number one until this year. It is Resident Evil 4 Remake. Is my number one spooky game. My favourite survival horror game of all time.
Resident
I adored it.
Evil
It's so
4.
good.
Remake.
Evil 4 Remake. I love that joke. It's so stupid. Yeah, Resident Evil 4 Remake. I love that game so much. It's shocking to me it's not going to be my game of the year this year. It should be, but there's so many good stuff in this year. It's ridiculous, and it's one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite horror game of all time already. It's incredible. I mean, they take everything that was good about the original and then improve on it. And I don't know what else I can really say. This game is just incredible. I just love it.
Well,
it's so good.
Resident
I love the
Evil
setting, I love
4
the characters.
is a good.
You don't have the.
What, you mean Ashley the mouse?
Yeah, you don't have the Leon. Help me, Leon. Yeah, you don't have that. She's still there, but she's not as annoying. She's actually a likable character for once. And then obviously the beginning with the village, obviously that's like the most iconic thing in probably the most iconic Resident Evil moment ever, was when you go into that village and get attacked. Like, they managed to remake it, make it different, yet still feel the same. I don't know how they did that. It's so crazy. And it's like this, and as I said, they changed the plot so it works really well. Like they just changed they just got rid of all the annoying parts and they just made it fantastic. I still haven't played Separate Ways. I've heard that's really good. I was listening to your podcast. You were saying about you were all saying you preferred it to Resident Evil 4, which I'm actually kind of shocked about.
The guys were saying
try it out.
The guys were saying that. I think for me, I prefer. I think the base game, the base game is just fucking perfect. I think it's so good.
I love it.
So good. And I was on the opposite end to you, where I've never enjoyed 4. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. It's a classic, right? But I was never. Whenever I think of Resident Evil, I don't think of 4 ever. Ever. I always think of like the original trilogy, Code Veronica, Outbreak, those kind of things, right? But yeah, 4 remake is just impeccable. It's absolutely impeccable. The knife parry system is just absolutely amazing. How they cut down on resources, so resource management's actually a thing in Resident Evil 4. It's class. Separate Ways, you have to play it before the end of the year, Lewis. You have to. Because it may be the difference maker.
Maybe I'll play that tomorrow.
Do that. Do that. It may be the difference maker that might
bump
be a
Halloween game.
Resident Evil 4 up to potentially being in your Game of the Year discussion. I know you love I know you love Starfield, but Separate Ways is fucking insane. Best piece of DLC I think I've ever played in my life.
Yeah. I think it's my number 3 at the moment, which is still really good.
Yeah.
Because obviously Zelda's right up there as well.
I think that's where I'd put
God,
it.
what a year we've had. It's so insane.
Wild.
So insanely good. I was going to say,
such
like,
a shame
I mean,
that
spoilers.
you didn't pick
I'm not going to go into too much detail, but
Majora's Mask as number 1.
oh, that's a good one.
That'd be a good
That's
choice.
a good honourable mention.
That's a great choice.
I was going to say, what's his name? Is this Salza? I can't remember his name now. The guy with the knife. What's his name?
Oh, Krauser. You're about Krauser? Krauser's
Krauser.
knife.
For some reason, I couldn't. I love that Krauser. They've really they've made him much more relevant in the story. In the original, he just like showed up. Like he actually kind of makes sense, and he actually like. I don't want to spoil too much, but like he gets into the story, but he's much more integral to the story this time around, and it's done much better, I think.
Yeah.
And and like, it's good. And they still got some of the cheesy lines in it, which I love. Like, they didn't get rid of all the cheesy lines. Like, you still got, like, where's everybody going? Bingo. Like, I still love that crap. I love it so much, and they still got it in there. But they got rid of some of the cheesy lines, but, yeah, it's a really good game. It's my favourite survival horror game ever.
Yeah.
And I will... Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to be doing Halloween now. You've convinced me.
The first Resident Evil game I've beaten. I got the Resident Evil on GameCube, but I really struggled to beat that. It's like, make sure you have enough ink ribbon for the typewriters. Like, you just go around, get killed by the Crimson Walker, end up losing about an hour's progress. But what really made Resident Evil fantastic, which I played on the Wii anyway, is the fact you can like save on the typewriter numerous times. So I was able to complete the game. But I got like Resident Evil 5, only beaten the beginning section, but it's just like, I haven't got into any of those sort of games. But Resident Evil 4 is just like perfect way to begin this whole thing.
Well, for me, I think with Resident Evil 4, we've had this discussion lots of times because you love Resident Evil, you guys talk about it all the time. But for me, I feel like there's like 2 different types of Resident Evil like games, isn't it? It's like this is the proper survival horror game, and then there's the goofy action game. And I feel like Resident Evil 4 is like the bridge between the two. And I like the goofy action stuff, and I like survival horror, but only to a certain limit. Like when it gets a bit too scary or jumpy, I'm like that. I like the balance it has. It's about the right balance for me.
I get you. I get you.
For some people, it's not scary enough. I get that.
I get you, and I mean the thing with me, my biggest complaint with Resident Evil 4, the original, was just that you were just a one-man army. You know, like you had like pretty much unlimited ammo. You were just smoking everyone. There was never a thought of, do I have to save this person? Do I not? The knife was so busted, so you just literally just knifing and kicking everyone to death. And then in this one, they just brought survival horror and the threat of numbers, which was always the intended reason to make Resident Evil 4 scary. It's supposed to be the number of enemies, right? And that was their whole like kind of push, and it just never worked in the original. It just never was scary because everyone was just got absolutely wrecked by you. Whereas in this, the threat of numbers is just terrifying because they actually are. They will absolutely gank you, and so it just works. It just works for the first time. It's like, oh my god, they absolutely nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. Capcom killed it this year. Absolutely killed it.
So good. You've convinced me I'm going to buy Separate Ways as soon as this podcast is finished. I'm going to go play it. But yeah, that's my favourite horror game of all time, and I think it's a really good year for horror. I was going to say, like, this year for horror games is absolutely mad. Like, you got Resident Evil 4, Dead Space Remake, Callisto Protocol, Alan Wake 2, I'm sure there's others I'm missing.
Loads of great ones in the
a lot of
indie
Dark
space.
was pushed to next year.
Yeah, loads of good ones in the indie space this year as well. It's been a fantastic year for survival horror. Really has. Last couple of years, it's the resurgence.
For sure.
It's the resurgence. We got Silent Hill 2 next year.
Love it.
It's going to be a good time.
Your channel's going to be busy.
Yeah.
You've obviously got your special channel for just if you want to plug that briefly.
Sure. Yeah,
well, definitely check out.
Funnily enough, I'm actually moving away from survival horror. Yeah. Yes, Alice, yes.
All right, Alice?
Yes, I will. I will check those out. But I'm going to be taking a short break from survival horror fairly soon because I'm going to do all the Metal Gear Solid games, every single one.
Love it.
So I'm going to do every single... I'm going to start with Metal Gear Solid, and then I'm going to move backwards to the original couple, and then move forwards from there. So I'm going to do... I got to start with Metal Gear Solid. I just got to... the timeline's already bugging in Metal Gear, right? So it doesn't matter which order I do them in.
Yes.
So, if I started chronological order, we'd start with Metal Gear Solid 3, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start with Metal Gear Solid, because it's my favourite game of all time, to get all my gushing out the way, and then I can go back and look at the ones I never played and then go forward. So I'm going to take a short break from survival horror, but of course I'll be dipping in every now and again with some Resident Evil content, of course. So go on to SSJ Davey onto YouTube on the road to 5K.
Metal Gear Solid 4 and Metal Gear Solid 5. So I mean, those things need to be included there. But in the Master Collection, it's just like
for you to record, I must say.
It's HD Collection and Metal Gear Solid 1. That's it.
They're saying the rumor is that there's a second collection going to come out, which will include Rising Revengeance, a couple of the Acid games, Portal Ops, Peace Walker, MGS4, MGS5, and that would be fantastic if it includes all that. MGS4.
Oh yeah,
I stand by the fact that MGS4 slaps tits. And everyone says it's a movie. I disagree. I love that fucking game. So
I love MGS4.
Oh, going back to Shadow
Moses. It's such a pain in the ass to play it though. Yeah. You can only play it on PS3 though, because you can cloud stream it on the PS4 and 5, which is they need to remake it, like re-release it.
I completed the Metal Gear Solid 4, and that was like fantastic. Also, the Metal Gear Solid 5. Stealth mechanics are top notch. It makes me hopeful that Delta is going to be like so supremely fantastic with those kind of gameplay. It just depends if Konami is just going to continue fucking up the new titles there. So, but hopefully they don't screw it up with.
Are they going to keep throwing it in, or are we going to get a proper version?
Or they just like make it the cheat code again. That would be a shame.
Oh, pachinko it, yeah. You're going to review the pachinko machines on your channel, Davey.
Do you know what? Funny enough, the highest review I've ever done so far has been a mobile game. It's been Dead Space Mobile. So maybe there's an audience out there. There's an audience out there for pachinko. Who knows? I don't even know at this point. I just put reviews out and hope for the best. And sometimes they do really well. Whenever I think, no one really care about this, it does amazing. So yeah, maybe Metal Gear Pachinko is the one that I then hit, big numbers on. Maybe that'd be a multi-mil. That'd be nice.
Love it.
But we'll see.
That'd be nice. But yeah, so I think that's it for is there anything else we wanted to discuss before we wrap up the episode?
I think we've gone on. We've gone on quite a bit here. I think
Yeah, I've had a really good time, guys. I've really enjoyed our Halloween Spooktacular. Ooh.
Even bigger than
Let us know in the comments below if you shit your pants. Yeah, with an extra person. Ooh.
There's an advert going around at the moment, and it was
going to be playing this
Beware
Halloween?
the Punami, and that's for the nappies advert.
Yes, I have seen that advert. It's so random. I don't think it's designed for survival horror fans. I think that was for babies, but we'll see. Literal babies, not. So I've had a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us, Davey. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
We're not sure when the next episode of the podcast will be. Maybe next month at some point. We're going to try and do it fairly regularly. I'm not sure, but it's not going to be going. We're not going to be doing it weekly for a while because maybe but we'll see what happens.
I'll be on the
thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. Our channel's still growing.
I think I will be quite busy doing November anyway. Possibly writing like 50,000 words of a draft. Crazy, but it's worth it.
Fair enough. But yeah, we're nearly at 300 subscribers. So check that out. Also check out In PS We Trust. They're nearly at 200 subscribers. They're catching up with us, so we got to get some more subscribers, guys. We can't let them catch us.
The console war race is on.
The console wars.
I'm just glad you guys are slowing.
Xbox.
I'm glad you guys are slowing down on the episodes, to be honest, because you were just about to overtake us in terms of episode numbers. So now we can start building up a bit before you start catching us up again. So yeah, we'll go from there.
That's just true.
But no, thank you for having me on, Lewis, and Alice, of course. Thank you both ever so much. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a lot of fun. We really enjoyed having you on. As I said, check out Davey's channel if you want some survival horror reviews, Metal Gear Solid reviews, and also check out In PS We Trust, our rivals in the podcast space.
So recommend these channels.
We're like your
really
sister
fantastic.
podcast. We're your sister podcast.
I recommend, highly recommend. We love this channel. It's really fun. And they like to take the piss out of me on there all the time. So if you like listening
it's
to
all
that,
from a place of love. It's all from a place of love, really. That's what it is. You're our bloody most returning guest we ever had on the podcast, Lewis.
That's also true. Yeah. If anything big Xbox news happens, you know where I am.
I will.
So, thanks for joining us. Thank you guys for watching. If you still are, I really appreciate it because you've stuck around for a good couple of hours here. So we really appreciate it. Comment, like, subscribe, and until next time, too sweet. Tell us, guys. Goodbye.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
So
and
long.
we're going to whisk away.
And please, you have made it to the end of this week's X Marks the Box podcast. You should follow us on X Marks the Box on both Twitter and YouTube. But never forget to subscribe to us on all audio podcast services. Now, it's about to turn into night, so remember your 3 favorite things well. Have yourselves a very happy Halloween. That is, if you could make it to Christmas.